望んだ未来の歪んだ音は繰り返すものの痛みも知らず希望に溢れた言霊を囚われてそのままですり抜けた結んで開いて隙間から届く操る光がシグナルでも I want to be with you たった一つの残された灯火に共存きらめくカウマ一筋の結ばれた彼女をせめぎ合ったままで抜けの尖るのごく深くまつる繋がれた絆を確かめるたびにほどかれる現実守りたいと願うまどろみの思い出上に消えゆく今度の渦真実のその先へ選んだ明日の望む夢が新しい幸せを告げるなら変わらぬ景色とぬくもりと信じてたその意味を確かめる結んで開いて進むべき道の涙の向こうで大豆を汲む I always find your side 向かい合わせろ寄り添った影に残像を重ねる瞳一筋の優雅な以上の巡るその想いは連綿のままし悟る祭りよみがえる絆を確かめるたびに広がり傷跡も悲しみに寄り添う光と影の音離れていてもつながっている笑顔を咲くこの場所で一筋の結ばれた感情をせめぎ合ったままで抜けのとんがるごとく深くまつる繋がれた絆を確かめるたびにほどかれる現実守りたいと願うまどろみの思い出海に消えゆく今度の渦真実のその先へ
Dang, that song is a bop. That's apparently one of the other opening songs for Higurashi. It's called Analogy by INA. And wow, that song was kicking it. Man, we're back, everybody! Around 6 months later, but we're here to return to the land of Higurashi when they cry. Chapter 6. It's called Chapter 6, Tsumihoroboshi, I believe is how it's pronounced. This one will be interesting, as the Steam page has Keiichi as the mascot. We had Rena for Chapter 1, Mion for Chapter 2, Satoko for Chapter 3, Rika for Chapter 4, and Shion for Chapter 5. After this, we're out of characters. Actually, I have the other 2 chapters already. Chapter 8 is... It looks like Takano, and then Chapter 7 is someone who I don't recognize. So that'll be interesting. How is everybody doing tonight? Hello, Shirley. Hello, Proxima. Great to see you both. Welcome, welcome. I'm excited for this too. I've heard Rena is one of the major characters for Chapter 6, and Rena is in my top 2 favorite characters from this game, so this should be interesting. Yeah, last time, Shion needed therapy, but she didn't get it, so instead she decided to be the worst person ever. Next week is Tomodachi Life 2 and your trip to New York City. Congrats! I hope that goes very well. So, let's head over and boot up the game for the first time. We can do, hopefully, a quick recap and what my potential expectations are for this chapter. This should be rather interesting. Whoa, 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 whoa. You think you can guess who the unknown character is? Alright. Sounds like maybe we get a new character late into the game. You got far into Chapter 6 of your writing project. Hey! That's awesome. Congrats. Hope that's going pretty well. Yeah, it's always tough to work on personal projects, especially if you're distracted by other things. I really need to go back and work on some of my projects a bit more, but caught up. I decided to submit like 10 games for the April Archipelago Async session, so I'm still a little busy with those. You predict Rena will stop taking her meds. I somehow think that's what's going to happen too. This patch supports different background music and sound effects. Cool. Hover button for info. Use the new background music and sound effects introduced in the 2019 update. Or use the background and sound effects which are closer to the original. Let's go Jians. Please pick a language. I will go with English instead of characters. Video opening might contain minor spoilers. Do you want to enable it anyways? Nah. I don't want to get spoiled on anything. Already, I think the only one I did it for was Chapter 2 and maybe Chapter 3. And Chapter 2 had a lot of things where I'm just like, who are these people? They're like, oh, that's for like a somewhat related Higurashi thing, but not the actual one. So here we go, Higurashi when they cry. Oh, we're at the school! And as we all know, Rena lives at school. Not really. So welcome to Chapter 6 of Higurashi when they cry, everybody. So we're in the answer arcs. We're on Chapter 6. So Chapter 5 was all about basically figuring out what was going on during Chapter 2. So presumably this is going to cover either a new story or maybe what was going on in Chapter 1. I'm not too sure. I'm excited to find out. Because this has been a really engrossing series. I know we've done 5 chapters now. There are still a lot of mysteries that are left unsolved. And I've kind of figured out what kind of my top 5 unanswered mysteries that I hope we get the answers to are. So, in order from least mysterious to most mysterious, and for me. Number 5, what is causing people to go crazy in the first place? Because it feels like every chapter, at least one or more persons go crazy. Like Chapter 1, Keiichi, Rena, and Mion all kind of went crazy. In Chapter 2, Shion went crazy. In Chapter 3, Keiichi and like Satoko went crazy. Chapter 4 was like a prequel, so we didn't really get to see that. And then Chapter 5, it was just Chapter 2 from a different perspective, so Shion still went crazy. I hope we get less Shion this chapter, because Shion got 2 chapters to herself, and she's already my least favorite character. Number 4, mystery. How does Rika know everything? Because Rika seems to have like clairvoyant knowledge of everything that's going to happen, and I'm not sure how. She also... Breaking me out a bit. Uh-oh. Did I mess with the mic settings? I'm not sure if people... Okay, yeah, there were some microphone issues, judging from OBS. So, if people didn't hear that, I'm wondering, as mystery number 4, how Rika has, like, clairvoyant knowledge of everything that's going to happen and how she's able to sound way deeper than she should. Mystery number 3, this is probably supposed to be the biggest mystery, but the mystery of, like, the Dam Project murder and, like, the curse of Oyashiro-sama. What's causing that every year? If it's, like, actually a demon, or one person who's a mastermind, or multiple people, or if it's just coincidence. Still not really sure. Number 2, what the heck was going on in Chapter 1? Chapter 1 is such a weird outlier at this point, because now that I've done 5 chapters, the farther I get into this game, the weirder Chapter 1 becomes. Because at the end of Chapter 1 when I played it, I was a little confused about what was happening, but I felt like I had at least somewhat of a decent grasp of things. But the farther we go, the more confusing it gets, because, like, Chapter 1, we learned that Rena and Mion were, like, in on this, like, whole conspiracy, and were, like, hardcore stalking Keiichi, and, like, were trying to drug him with the same thing that killed, like, Toмотake, and then he killed them in, like, self-defense, and then killed himself. But then we learn in the future chapters that Rena and Mion are not involved, so what the heck was going on in Chapter 1? Why were they then? It gets more confusing the longer I get to. And then the biggest mystery of all, but I have no idea what's going on. What the heck was the Chapter 3 ending? I have no clue what the heck happened there, or why everyone died from, like, a gas leak from the swamp in that chapter, but not the others. It's very bizarre. I don't know what to make of that, and I don't know how Keiichi was just able to get people to die by saying that they should die. Yeah, okay. Anyway, so that kind of covers the main mysteries that I hope we get solutions to. We're probably not getting solutions to all of them this chapter, but we should at least learn more stuff. Anyhow, let's actually start. Okay. Ominous gone. Oh, guys, remember? This is where we found Colonel Sanders. Tsumihoroboshi, the first fall. Atonement chapter. How is your reasoning towards the truth coming along? The next tragedy is ready for you. Enjoy. This is a humorous story with a tragic struggle at the end. The difficulty is 0. You can just enjoy the clowns milling around. Okay. Interesting. Yeah, maybe we'll finally see what happened in Chapter 1. That would make sense, because Rena wasn't in it that much for Chapter 3. Or honestly, Chapter 2 or 5. Rena's really only been a major character in Chapter 1, and she was by far the most terrifying character. You think Rika is literally the goddess reincarnated. That's your guess. There is that myth where it's like, oh, Rika might be the reincarnation of Oyashiro-sama, which, like, that, I guess, could be the case. I definitely think there is something demonic going on at some level. Whether it's, like, all demons or just partially demons, I don't know, but I'll be surprised if that's not part of it. All right, let's start milling about. All right, thanks, Rena. This arc includes choices that were added in the console version. These choices result in dialogue changes and can lead to bad ends. Do you want to see these choices? See, here's the thing. Normally, I am all for the choices here. Up to this point, though, in Higurashi, we've only, I think, had 3 parts where we can make a choice. One of them was just for a skit and didn't actually matter. The other 2 was basically good ending or bad ending, and neither of those choices have been good ones. Like, both of them were very misleading. The one in Chapter 5 in particular was just like, why was that even in? So, I'm kind of on the fence if we want to enable choices here. Especially if the, like, bad endings are not canon to the original story? Is it worth it? I'm not really sure. I'm not going to highlight the correct answers, though. So we can either skip additional choices, show only content for the PC version, or we can do the regular one. I'm on the fence about this. I could go either way. Your 5 questions in no order. Who is Takano? Who is killing Rika? What is Coach hiding? Why is Uisi hating the Sonozakis, and where did Satoshi go? Those are some more minor questions. Yeah, who's killing Rika? That I think is part of the mystery of who's doing the Curse of Oyashiro-sama. Coach is hiding something. Coach killed himself in Chapter 3, which is weird. So that's interesting. Why does Uisi hate the Sonozakis? I just can't think of a single reason why he would. Oh, wait. I guess I could always look it up earlier. Yeah, that's true. I'm always hesitant to look up stuff about Higurashi, though, because I really don't want to get spoiled on stuff, because if it's anything like Ace Attorney, you can look up an innocuous piece of Ace Attorney content, and people put spoilers in their thumbnails. And if you do that, Jesus still loves you, but also you need to stop doing that. I'm gonna say... Yeah, I'm gonna say skip additional choices this time. They've only kind of frustrated me in the previous 2 chapters. The first time I would try harder to avoid the inevitable tragedy. The second time I would be disgusted with the inevitable tragedy. The third time my disgust would turn into anguish. The 7th time I'd be laughing by then. Frederica Bernkastel. This is a work of fiction. Any resemblance to actual persons or organizations is coincidental. Wink. Hey, Liz. Welcome to the stream. You're just in time. The chorus of the Higurashi had replaced that of the cicadas. Their cries came from a distance, echoing loudly and then faded away. They sounded so weak and fragile. Rena's voice was just like the cries of the Higurashi. She'd say something, but the words would quickly fade away. She sounded so fragile that it made me worry she might vanish into thin air, along with her words. But nobody is pressuring her to continue. Mio dusted off the hood of an abandoned car and sat down as if to show how relaxed she was. Hey, Fimoa, welcome. Great to see ya. Good to be back with Higurashi. Yes, indeed. This is your favorite arc. Hey, let's go. My favorite arc has actually been Chapter 1, I think. Because Chapter 1 was the only chapter up to this point that has been genuinely terrifying to me. Because it was way more psychological than the others. Also just because of my own personal issues. She did look very relaxed, as if she came here to enjoy the cool breeze of the evening or something. Satoko followed Mion's example and sat down as well. Now, whose perspective are we going to be in? I assumed it was going to be Rena's perspective, because we got Shion's perspective last time, and I feel like getting Rena's perspective this time might answer some things, but I'd be cool being Keiichi again. Because if we're in Rena's perspective, we don't get to see Rena's sprites, so... And her sprites are some of my favorites. What is Rena gonna tell people? Guys, I'm mentally unstable. She's only mentally unstable if she doesn't take her meds. Yeah. She didn't look nearly as relaxed, however. I thought about following suit, but it felt rude to look away from Rena even for the short time that it would take to find a place to sit down, so I decided to remain standing. Rika-chan didn't sit down either, but she wasn't looking at Rena. Everybody else was looking at Rena, but Rika-chan was looking at the red sky. So this definitely must be Keiichi's perspective, because he calls her Rika-chan. Rika-chan's expression was hard to describe. She looked pale and blank at the same time, as if all of her emotions were gone. They probably are if she already knows the terrible things are going to happen. Rena wore the same kind of expression. Rika's actually just very annoyed that we turned off the alternate choices. She kept trying to say something, but it seemed like the words were stuck in her throat. She noticed Rika-chan was looking at the sky, so she decided to look that way as well. Mion did the same. So did I. I know, Chapter 1 was, like, horrifying. Because Chapter 1 was such a different level of horror. Because Chapter 2 is like, oh yeah, your friend is torturing people. Chapter 3 was really dark, with, like, the abuse that was happening to Satoko, that was true. But it was kind of, again, it was out of the way. It was more uncomfortable than scary, I think. Chapter 4 wasn't really scary at all. And then Chapter 5, again, it was more just like, wow, we get to actually see the torture happen, which was, again, uncomfortable. Chapter 1, though, was actually, like, frightening, with your friends, like, hardcore stalking you, watching your every move, and, like, trying to break into your house. Dude, like, oh, it was so good, though. Satoko looked that way, too. And with that, there was silence. It was like we were in a concert hall, filled with the chorus of the Higurashi. A concert hall with the highest roof in the world. A refreshingly cool breeze tickled our sweaty bodies. I can almost make myself believe we came here to enjoy the breeze and the sunset. I could only wish that was what we came here for. The shadows of the birds flying across the sky soured the feeling of our quiet concert. They reminded us that time hadn't stopped. Nobody wanted to pressure Rena. We didn't want time to pressure her either. We wanted to keep the cool red sky as long as we could, so Rena could calm down and talk. Oh, she might be opening up about being mentally unstable. Right then, I heard a sound, and it brought us all back to reality. The hood Mion was sitting on had made a noise when she moved across her legs. I don't know whether Mion made the noise on purpose or not, but it reminded us that time had been passing by. The noise took our attention away from the sky and back to the ground. Rena, what did you do? Such a tasteless noise seemed to have urged Rena to speak. Rena heaved a heavy sigh. Nope. Rena heaved a small sigh. Nodded as if she understood something and looked at us like she always did.
話す前に一個だけ言いたいことがあるの。
Okay, so it's defaulting to the console sprites? I can get behind this. I like the console sprites. She was probably saying it to everybody, but since I'm standing in the middle, with her looking at me, I nodded to her to represent our agreement. By the way, it's good to see you again, Rena.
レナは正しい努力をしたと思ってる。
Rena, if you killed somebody, I can't be on board with that. Unless it was Satoko's uncle, in which case I'll look the other way. Her voice wasn't hoarse anymore. Or if it was Shion, I'll also look the other way for that too. She sounded just like she always did.
人って幸せになるためにどれだけの努力が許されるのかな。
Just tell me the circumstances. It sounded like a question, but nobody answered.
だからね、私みーちゃんの部活って好きなの。ほら、優勝のためには何でもしようって考え方、そういうのって素敵だと思う。
No, you don't cheat to win.
だって世の中が綺麗事で縛られてて、やっていい努力がわずかだけに決められていたら、幸せじゃない人たちはますます幸せを勝ち取れなくなっちゃうじゃない？
That's an interesting way of putting it.
不幸ってね、連鎖するものだと思うの。
Sounds like Rena played the previous 5 chapters as
一度
well.
続き始めるとなかなか抜け出せない。
Alright.
そこから抜け出すには運とか人の助けとか、そういう他力本願なものだけじゃ到底足りない。
I know, yeah. The author did such a good job of making you feel as paranoid as Keiichi in chapter 1. The atmosphere was impeccable. And I don't think it's going to be possible to return to a psychological style of horror from chapter 1 again, because we now know a little bit more about what's going on. But chapter 1 really did feel just isolated from the rest of the story up to this point. She definitely killed someone. There's a theme to wanting happiness and killing to get there. Unless you're Shion, in which case you just kill because you like it. Or rather, to get revenge, I guess, in her deluded state. Rena getting philosophical right out the gate. They always have to start with something weird, right?
自分でももっともっと努力しないといけないと思うの。それも本当に精一杯。
It is still weird hearing Nagisa's voice out of Rena.
そこまでしてやっとつかめるのが幸せってものじゃないかなって。
But wow, this actress has range. Rena stopped talking, looked up, heaved a sigh, and opened her mouth again.
でもだからってみんなにもそれを受け入れてもらおうなんて甘えるつもりもないかな。だって本当に汚らしいもの。
Don't say that with a smile on your face like that. Hi! Yeah, definitely. Wow.
みんなだってついさっき呆然と
Guys,
した
I
でしょ。
remembered how to change the art style this time. It only took 6 chapters.
それはつまりそういうことだよね。
I'd never seen her smile so self-derisively like this. That smile looked unbelievably painful. I could really feel how huge the distance between us was. There's nothing physically there, but I felt as if she's talking to us through iron bars or a chain-link fence. That's how great the distance between us was.
でもそれでもいいよ。仕方ないもんね。
Amen! Yes, it feels so good to be back in Keiichi's head. Don't get me wrong, Shion was an interesting character. Having someone who was very clearly different from Keiichi. She was very well written from that perspective, where you felt like, yeah, this is a completely different character. And it was interesting to see her thought process, but yeah, Shion's not great. Shion was already my least favorite character prior to that chapter, but she is far and away my least favorite character now. Ugh. Yeah. Let's not dwell on that, though. We gotta keep moving forward.
多分私が逆の立場でいられたなら同じように唖然として無責任で無慈悲な同情を浮かべていたに違いないもの。
She probably said that to hit back at us. We're just putting on a mask of sympathy, enjoying the spectacle of a clown on a stage. That's why she said that. Oh, yuck, yuck! She probably expected us to say something in return, but none of us knew what to say. Rena looked disappointed for a moment, then turned and clambered on top of an abandoned car. Oh. Then she spread her arms out and gave a little twirl, letting her skirt billow up before she grabbed both ends and gave us a grateful curtsy. Alright, that's the face of a murderer, everybody. I don't know if she committed murder, but it's definitely implying that. Nice CG, though.
始めるよ。
Oh.
竜宮レナの一世一代の頑張り物語を。
Oh boy. There was no curtain or spotlight. She was atop an abandoned car amidst trash piles, a stage specially made for her. We tried not to miss a word of what she was about to say. We believed that that was the least we could do to not hurt her feelings. Oh, so now we are going to get Rena's perspective in the flashback. And she's like, here's how I committed Tsumihoroboshi. I don't know what that word means. It's probably not even a verb. But there we go. It's Rena time. Let's say it's a winter month like December right now. What would you do if all of a sudden you had a week of hot and humid days with crying cicadas? If it was Christmas week, I would be like, really? But if it was any other week, I'd be like, heck yeah! I don't like winter. Absolute cinema intro. That was a pretty good intro, yeah. Would you still wear your coat and your scarf? Absolutely not, right? Of course not. Even though it's still June. It's already summer to us, since we've been having hot days for so long. This is a story how my life got flipped turned upside down. Fresh Prince intro, yep. Tsumihoroboshi means atonement. Good to know, thank you. So it's totally okay to do this kind of club activity in June. At my old school, everybody usually does what they want in PE class, but today would be an exception. All my classmates were gathered in the schoolyard. Mion looked over everybody gathered there, then spoke up loudly. Oh! Guys, it's back to the squirty gun fight from chapter 1. You guys remember that? That was years ago. Also, hey, Mion. You better be Mion. Let the animation finish before you change art styles. Okay, fine. Hi! The OG art style sometimes is great and sometimes is very derpy. I think console's the most consistent. Oh boy. I like the goofy music too, yeah. Beginnings when you know nothing and are able to be scared of unknown. There being endless possibilities for mystery are the best. Same reason why chapter 1 of Umineko is also special to me. I've heard of Umineko. That's by the same guy, I think, because it's Umineko when they cry. We all raise the water guns in their hands. Here we go! It's okay to use water guns in June because it's been so hot and humid. You can use water guns in December. You're just a terrible person. All of my classmates were joining in, so it's going to be a big water gun battle. I'm so excited. Satoko, your lip sync is a little off. Just a wee bit. Wait, we're not in Rena's perspective? Or are we getting her sprites as well? Hey Rika, nice to see you again. Burp, 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 burp. I forgot the remake art style is also very good.
そういうことだな。およそ勝負と名の付く以上、俺たち部活メンバーは
What dumb punishment are you doing today? It is good to see that Satoko's okay after she got crucified last chapter.
まあそういうこと。部活メンバー諸君は部活に負けたりしちゃうと大変なペナルティが待ってるからね。
Whatever music do we have?
部活メンバー諸君は部活に負けたりしちゃうと部活メンバー諸君は
Okay, no,
部活に負
Mion,
け
you
た
don't
り
have to
しちゃう
keep
と
repeating it.
大変なペナルティが待ってるからね。
Which button is the music? Alt voice, no. Nope. Which button is for... Oh. It was every single button except the one I used. Okay, it's just the same music. It is literally just the same music. Umineko is Ryukushi taking lessons from Higurashi and writing a peak fiction. And I mean, literally one of the best pieces of fiction that you read. Okay, noted. Okay.
よしよし。
Mion,
盛り上がってきたぜ。
Mion, you're still a little sadistic.
生徒諸君、武器点検は十分か。弾倉は満タンか。任せてくださいよ、前原さん。
Oh my gosh! Yeah, it's Tomita! Let's go! We haven't seen him since chapter 2? Maybe chapter 3? It's been a while.
銃撃戦は僕たちの最も得意とするところですからね。
Glad to see he's doing well.
富田たちはよく水鉄砲で遊んでますから、かなり強敵かもなのですよ。
And Okamura too. I forget which one. I think this one on the left has a crush on Rika, and the other one has a crush on Satoko.
今日の僕たちは少し違います。
Gotta say, Okamura has better taste. Tomita-kun and Okamura-kun smiled confidently, holding their guns in a practiced manner. Yeah! Their skills must give them confidence. They even look different.
ミオンは言うに及ばず、サトコもリカちゃんもかなり強敵になりそうだぜ。レナはどうだ？ちょこまか動いていの一番にやられないように頑張れよ。そういえば最近のレナは罰ゲーム常連だな。
Oh. Okay, you don't need to blush about that one.
最近不得意なゲームが多かったから。
Yeah, what we need to do, we need to play more Dominion. Oh, we play Dominion, I'm not gonna lose.
でもケイチ君も最近私と同じで罰ゲームが多いと思うかな。
Your mouth barely moved when you said that, Rena. Hey, X-Dude, welcome to the stream. You know what sucks? Those two die in Chapter 3. Everybody died in Chapter 3, except Keiichi, and he just got thrown in the loony bin. And I still don't know why that happened. And more than anything, I don't know, the thing about Chapter 3 that still makes no sense is that apparently Keiichi didn't actually kill the uncle, even though he definitely did. I'm just... My brain's... Why are we playing Rika's theme song here?
罰ゲームの格好のまま帰宅して、さあ脱ごうとしたところでお袋に見つかった俺の哀愁などわかるものか。
I think this is just a group of psychopaths, personally.
うが
私だって先週のはひどいよ。普通の女の子ならお嫁に行けなくなっちゃうよ。
I don't even want to know. Satoko laughed at us loudly while we were shuddering at the memory of the cruel punishments we suffered in the past. Look, Satoko, you did not deserve what happened to you in Chapter 3 or 5, but that doesn't mean I have to like you.
覇気や運気にも偏りというのがございましてよ。
Oh, it was so funny when we
その意
tortured
味から
you.
言えば、ここしばらくのレナさんやケイチさんはいわゆる負け組というやつでございますわね。
Loser! You're a loser!
確かに負け癖ってやつはあるね。
Wow. Thanks for the vote
ど
of
うしてや
confidence.
つは負けが続くとくじけてくる。絶対勝てるという信念が砕けると、全く同じことをやっても裏目裏目に出るもんだからね。
てめえら、たまたま俺とレナがちょいと罰ゲームを哀れに思って引き受けてやってたの感謝もせずにその言い草か。
Is Keiichi talking out of his butt again, or did he actually do that?
あら、そうでしたの？それは感謝の気持ちが足りず申し訳ないことでございましたよ。
You know, this is really loud music. No, not the voice volume. Where's the
それは
music
感謝の
volume?
気持ちが足りず申し訳ないことでございましたよ。
The music be a little bit on the loud side right now. Oh wow, only 2 matches. That was good. That is true, Shirley. I do prefer Satoko like this to when she is abused and depressed. That's for sure. I just don't know why it has to be one or the other.
うわー、サトコってめえ。
Oh, Keiichi and his anime
そのセリ
screaming
フは
again.
俺の怒りに火をつけたぜ。
Yeah, we know how bad that turned out
後
last
悔
time.
させてやる。
Don't add oil to the flames, Keiichi. Did you not learn that in Chapter 3? Oh wait, you don't remember.
その息だよ、ケイちゃん。
So it looks like this is a new timeline, because this wouldn't be Chapter 1, unless Chapter 1 now has a very different ending.
まあせいぜいあがいておじさんを楽しませてちょうだいよね。
Mion, don't call yourself an old man just because Shion did that.
レンナも頑張って。あうあう言ってる間にクラスで一番最初に脱落したらさすがに恥ずかしいからね。でもその可能性も高いかな。
一番最初に脱落するのがレナさんだと思いましてよ。どんな目に遭うか今からお覚悟なさいませな。
A bad time. Megalovania intensifies.
ひどいよ。
Be
兄ちゃんも
nice
サ
to
トコち
Rena.
ゃんも。
Rena's a sweet girl when she's not hardcore stalking us and trying to break into our house.
レナもケイイチもファイトですよ。
What's the other version of the OST here? I think it's just the same thing. Oh no, it's not. Good idea. Thanks for the suggestion. Let's Yay, Star. Mion and Satoko laughed at us as loud as they could. Of course they did. And then moved on to tease their next target. Left alone, all I could do was stomp on the floor in anger.
くそー絶対負けねえあそこまで言われたら負けられねえぜ
そうだねあそこまで言われると悔しいよね
I know that Mion's been calling herself an old man since chapter 1. The reason in the Urduverse she does it is because she's trying to act more like a tomboy, because that's how Shion is, and she has to basically pretend that she's Shion's personality.
っていうか悔しいどころじゃねえぞプライドの問題だぞくさ
みーちゃんの言うように負け癖ってやっぱりあるかもしれないよねだから今日は絶対に勝ってみんなを見返してやろう
I also think doing this twice a year instead of every year has really helped me remember stuff from the previous chapter a bit better. I say that before I forget something critical from chapter 5, I'm sure. Rena's eyes looked different. She's usually a funny and weird person, but I know she has the determination to do what she needs to. When Rena looks like this, she can be a tough opponent.
今日は私も部活の規則にのっとり手加減なしで行く
Well, we know Rena don't mess around. At her old school, she broke the whole school. Every window,
な
every
んだ
single
かか
one.
っこいいこと言うじゃねえのまるで普段の自分はわざと手を抜いているって言わんばかりだぜ
Rena smiled. Or maybe you could have called it a wicked grin. She was serious. She was serious about what she said. I could tell that from her expression alone. Is she gonna get cicada eyes? No, she's not. Among all the club members, Rena is easily the most sensible one. That is a horrible club that you live in. Really? Rena's the most sensible one until she forgets to take her meds one day. The rule of our club is that we can do anything in order to win, but she's the only one who has moral qualms in doing it. True. That's why we rarely have a hard time against her, except for when she snaps. It's rare to hear her say that she won't go easy.
ちっくしょーそんな笑い方されたら俺も超本気で行くしかねえじゃねえかよ
You have a theory, so surely. What if Rika had two personalities or separate beings in one body? Like when Rika gets serious and creepy, she's not aware of it. Like it's a literal different Rika. That could be. If she's possessed by the actual Oyoshiro-sama demon, that is a certain possibility. I kind of don't think so, though. There are subtle hints that Rika just knows way more about what's going on. But like, she acts kind of like a goof. I'm not really sure, though. Like you said, you committed the crime of forgetting those two being in Chapter 5 and 3. And you thought they were the last time in Chapter 2? I'm sorry, they're... Oh, wait, no, hang on, that's right, because they were in the room when Shion was beating up the 10-year-old abuse victim. Wait, I forgot about that. Whoops. Sorry, I was so focused on Shion beating up the 10-year-old abuse victim that I didn't remember all the people that were there.
いつも本気で戦うのが部活だけどそれでもやっぱりそれ以上に本気じゃないといけない時
We gotta continue with the actual dialogue, otherwise we're gonna be here
今日は
forever.
多分それだね
だな
We pounded our fists together. Usually when we really don't want to lose the game, one asks the other to work together, but Rena did not ask this time, which meant that she was going to try to defeat everybody by herself. No, not try. She was going to do it by herself. Rena looked really cool at that moment, but I wasn't scared. If she was seriously going to do it, then I'd have to be serious and do it too. My fighting spirit had been dented after many losses, but it had begun to burn hot once more.
ケイチ君もなかなかいい顔してるね
Thanks, baby.
怖いな全員と一人で戦っても勝てるつもりでいる顔だね
レナだってそのつもりだろ
じゃあぶつかるのは最後だね
互いにクラス全員を全滅させたら最後にはそうなるな
最後の戦いの時そこにいるのがケイチ君なのを
Temporary
期待してるね
alliance?
おう
We pounded our fists together again. This is wholesome.
光線規定はちゃんと覚えてるね被弾時の申請だけは正直にね被弾した人は撃っちゃダメだよ仮に当てても無効ね
ミオン被弾の定義を再確認したいぜ
Physically hit, punched.
水鉄砲で撃たれたら避乱。
Okay.
ひねくれたケイちゃんのためにさらに補足するなら、
Don't talk for your teeth at me. It's bad
水
manners.
鉄砲というこの容器から出た水が最初に触れたものが標的であったとき、
So
避
if I
難とする
so if
わ
I
け。
dump a bucket on your head, that would not count.
つまり水鉄砲を経由した水をバケ
That's
ツに溜
literally
め
the
てぶっ
metaphor
かけても
she-
無効ってわけ。
直接攻撃以外は有効じゃないってことだね。さとこちゃんの脅威が少し薄らいだかな。トラップにもいろいろございましたよ。レナさんなんか一番最初に餌食にして差し上げましたよ。
Yeah, we didn't have happy times last chapter at all. Right from the beginning, it was just Shion, like, I have to escape from this cult. It's like, it's just Catholic girls' school, okay? Like,
それは無理。私を仕留めようとしたらさとこちゃんじゃまだまだ役不足だね。なんですって？
ほほほ、レナが
That
売
was
り
a
言
good
葉
laugh.
だね。こりゃ面白くなりそうだよ。ねえケイちゃん、
大して面白くねえと思うぞ。俺かレナかどっちにやられたいかを選ばされるだけなんだからな。
ooh.
ケイチもやる気満々なのです。
Mion seems to sense the fighting spirit in me and Rena. How okay, obviously don't answer this if you know, but how far does Rika's clairvoyant knowledge go? Does she know our every move in this fight so she can just defeat us all if she wants to? That would be kind of baller. I can tell that she's as serious as we are just from the way she looks.
よっしゃ、
Where'd the music go?
いい面構えだよ、気に入った。
Oh.
じゃあ始めるよ。全員3回。くじで決められた場所に移動してね。
Everybody had to draw lots to pick a place to start the game from. It wouldn't be fun if everyone was close together at the beginning of the game. True. By the way, my starting position was behind the school building. When I drew this starting position, I thought about hiding until there were only a few people left, like I did in our last game of tag. But a defensive tactic like that wasn't interesting to me anymore. I hadn't been this excited in a long time. Small towns in a nutshell. My legs were shaking from the excitement. It was my first time experiencing that kind of feeling. I could hear Mion's countdown from some distance away.
3、2、1。
Free for all! A single shot of a toy pistol. That was not a toy pistol. Mion has a real gun, at least in the OG art style, so. You want. Oh. This is a new song, and I love it. With that sound, I was already running around the building. There had to be some underclassmen nearby. Don't pick on the kids first. I'd usually assume that somebody else would take care of them, but this time was different. No, you're not gonna stealth attack them? They stood frozen in fear as I ran towards them, screaming at the top of my voice. They took a moment to quickly decide whether to fight or run away, and in that moment, I shot one after another.
悪いな。
That's water guns don't make that noise.
俺の隣が当たった時点で運がなかったと思ってくれ。
I felt bad for them because they lost the game so quickly, so I rubbed their heads to cheer them up and then took their water guns. Yes, that was the key factor in the game. You can't put very much water in a water gun. With 10 people around you in a gun battle, the water would be gone in a minute. I abandoned the gun I used to shoot them, held one of their guns in each hand, and scoped out the schoolyard. He's got experience playing GoldenEye 64. Just as I expected, there was an intense battle happening there. In the short time it took me to take care of the area behind the school building, it seems like most of my classmates were already shot. I wasn't surprised, though. I kind of knew it'd happen. You need to have a high skill to fight in the open schoolyard. Especially when most of the club members were there. It must have been like a battle of elephants and ants.
なんだミオンのあれは。
Does she have the Super Soaker 5000? Mion was holding a different water gun from the one she had when the game started. She was now holding one that looked like a huge machine gun. Yep. Yikes. Keiichi would be good at GTA. I could see it. This OST's in the top 5 from Higurashi for you? It's a good one. Although Higurashi has pretty great music in general. Its range capability, its pump action shooting, and the amount of water it can hold were way beyond comparison. There were no restrictions on what kind of water guns we could use today. As long as it's a water gun, we were allowed to use any kind. You're supposed to use a water gun, not a real gun. Most of us have a normal pistol-style water gun from a local toy store or something similar. I would have bought a bigger one like Mion if they'd had one, but they weren't in stock and I'd have to order it in. In other words, Mion ordered hers a long time ago, just for today. Mion also works at the toy store, so she probably just bought them all, because she has disposable income. She's always well prepared when it comes to winning. She must have thought that we wouldn't allow her to use the big water gun if she showed it off before the game started, so she must have hidden it somewhere. It looks like most of our classmates were shot right after the game started. Only a few were still alive, trying to survive as well as they could by using the heavy construction equipment as a shield. I know it's like game knowledge, but like, only a few were still alive. Mion's just going on a school shooter rampage. Mion mercilessly shot at them from various angles to make them come out from behind the shield.
そらそんなとこに隠れてないで出てきな。
Tomita-kun and Okamura-kun were trying their best to resist her attack from behind their shield. It looked like they had no chance against her, but that actually wasn't true. After all, the two of them were only still alive because of all of their experience in water gun battles. Are we gonna help them out? Bros before hoes and all that. They survived the first few minutes of her assault, even though 99% of their classmates didn't, and they were still surviving at that very moment. Mion, however, is also a battle-hardened soldier. She used the advantage of her big water tank, but gradually but certainly drove them into a corner. It was only a matter of time before she broke them down.
ダメだ。あのマシンガンはつらいよ。委員長の水が少なくなるまで。
That's true. She's firing very flippantly. She's like me playing things from space.
今は手も足も出ないよ。
Alternative reality where Higurashi takes place in the US than Japan. There would be a lot more gun violence, that's for sure. The Curse of Oya Shirosama wouldn't work, because anytime someone tried to kill us, we could just be... nice try. Nope. You thought you could kill me at the dam project? Turns out you're the one who's damned. Oh! They tried to hold out against her, but all they could do for now was keep running behind cover as Mion strafed closer and closer to them. Although she knows strafing! They're screwed. They wanted to use their 2-against-1 advantage, but it seemed like they wouldn't even get that chance. If they tried attacking recklessly, one of them might get shot, then the other would have no chance of winning. So they grew more cautious, placing their bets on their final chance, but that caused their offense to wane. Oh! Of course, Mion saw through their plan. She was purposefully provoking them so that they'd lose their patience and start attacking her recklessly. Too true, if this was set in America, the Japan developers would definitely make them actually use real guns. Yes. Mion circled around the construction equipment, and now she was standing with her back towards me. If I went up against her machine gun fair and square, I wouldn't stand a chance. So, attacking from behind would be the only way for me to defeat her. Even though she was in a defenseless position, there was some distance between us. I was still too far away. But, it would still be better to attack her now than to take her head on. Don't hesitate, Keiichi. You won't have this chance again. I stepped out from my hiding place and ran as fast as I could towards her with 2 water guns in my hand. Instead of approaching slowly and silently, I screamed at the top of my lungs. Well, that's dumb. Keiichi's like, it's an anime, I'm using the whole anime voice. Mion seemed a little shocked by my surprise attack, but she immediately pulled herself together. She knew the advantages of her weapon. But she didn't shoot me just yet. She held back, luring me closer. Mion was well aware of how much water she had left. If she had the same kind of water gun as me, we would have had the same range capability. So it would have been down to our technique to decide the winner. If she was fighting against one of her underclassmen, she could have defeated them easily. Mion immediately calculated her chance of winning against me and figured out that her only chance was to use the advantage of her water gun. She saw the eye of the tiger in me and recalculated her chances of winning in a split second. Really, I can admire how fast she does those things. I ran at top speed to shorten the distance between us. Our strength should have been equal. I had 2 water guns with full tanks, and she had a machine gun with a half-empty tank. That is not equal. She still has the advantage. We both waited for the perfect moment.
今日のケイちゃんの気迫には敬意を表するよ。
That's nice,
今日のあ
Mion.
んたには正面からぶつかり合って互角以上の勝率を弾き出せる自信がない。
残念だぜミオン。勝率の弾き方も鈍ったな。
I like the CG, or I guess CG in quotes. This is a good one.
今日の俺に正面からぶつかり合ったら
Okay,
互角どころじゃない。
I'm into it. This water gun fight is really cool.
ての負けだ。
I mean, it's no Clannad laser tag battle, but what could possibly top that? The moment we step it within range, Mion and I pulled our triggers at the same time. Mion set her sights squarely on me while I was trying to shoot and run at the same time. Her shot would obviously be more accurate than mine. My shot of water flew towards nowhere. Mion didn't even need to duck. But Mion's shot made a beautiful arc straight towards my chest. I could see the line of water coming straight at me, but I was too unstable to dodge. Mion had no doubt that she got me.
気合だけではどうにもならない現実がこれだったね。
Photo negative Mion is not real and can't hurt you.
やっぱりケイちゃんは最初に脱落だ。
やっぱり残念だぜミオン。今日のミオンのコンピュータは一手読みが足りないぜ。
Oh yeah, so Clannad is another visual novel that I played on my channel several years ago. It was really long, like 200 episodes, and one of the routes, it's like the baseball route, but going into it, there's like a guy who runs into the school and starts like playing impromptu laser tag, and like is like doing feats like jumping out of windows and like rolling around and like setting up barricades. It's amazing, and it comes out of nowhere too. It's fantastic.
ほざくな。その体勢からかわす術はない。
Mion, there are kids around. You can't say that word.
水の弾丸で撃ち抜かれろ。そしてどうして私の背後を沈黙して奪わず、叫びながら襲う具を犯したかを呪うがいいよ。
You're really disappointing me today, Mion. You could have figured this out if you had spent just one more second to think. You could have figured out the reason why I didn't creep up on you, but screamed as loud as I could instead. Mion noticed my surprise attack and turned around to face me. In other words, she turned her back on the opponents she was fighting earlier. Those opponents heard my scream and saw that she had turned her back to them.
なんだって？
Mion noticed her back was wet and cold. She finally understood that the underclassmen she was attacking just earlier had shown their fangs and attacked her from behind. I blocked her water shot with my arm, right before it hit my chest. The line of water was broken into droplets and splattered away. You still got hit, though. They didn't specify it had to be hit in the chest. You just got hit. Although I guess if Mion got hit just before you did, does that mean her attack doesn't count because she's technically out now?
そうだったか。被弾者の攻撃は被弾して。
Oh, that's it!
向こうだ。
そいつに気づくのだいぶ遅かったぜ。伏せろミオン。
Mion squatted down and covered her head. Now it was me versus Tomita-kun and Okamura-kun. Their reflexes weren't so bad. They knew well that I'd be their next target after Mion was gone. They didn't feel sorry at all for attacking me right after I just saved them from their predicament. I could respect the cruelty and how quickly they shifted gears. They may one day be able to join our club if they keep refining their sense and skill.
次は前原さんだ。このまま撃ち殺すんだ。
Oh, big mistake! You said it out loud, so now I heard that.
こっちは2人だもんね。負けるわけがない。
So what? I play Mario Party 1 versus 3 games. This is nothing. They were, however, one step behind me. It was already too late. For them, Mion was their first target, and I was next. But I was different. My first target was them from the start. I didn't even see Mion as my target to begin with, because I knew they'd take care of her! I was pointing my guns at them long before they moved their sights from Mion to me. It seemed like they noticed at the last minute that both my guns had been pointing at them from the beginning. Which meant that it was already too late for them. I jumped over Mion, rolled on the ground, and landed on my feet. I looked as elegant as an athlete who had just finished a perfect performance. I had a gun in each of my hands. And with those guns, I shot them each in the middle of their chests.
早すぎる。
I thought for a second it was going to be like that shot where I shot it at Mion and it missed. I was actually shooting for them and it hit afterwards. And I was going to be like, how the heck did that work time-wise? But no, he just did another shot.
僕たちが2人がかりで負けるなんて。
Tomita-kun and Okamura-kun fell to their knees in disappointment.
ケイちゃんがこれだけのことをやってのけるなんて。私も鈍ったってことかな。
Mion wiped the dirt from her knees, looking frustrated.
別にミオンは鈍っちゃいなかったろ。
じゃあなんでおじさんが負けたわけよ。
Keiichi's such a ham, though. He always does the dramatic descriptions.
そんなの決まってるじゃないか。
I twirled my guns on the tips of my fingers. Yeehaw.
たまには勝たねえと格好がつかねえからだよ。
Okay, let's tone down the ham a bit. There were only a few people left alive. Rena, Satoko, and myself. Rika got taken out? No! Rena and Satoko were fighting fiercely. Were they evenly matched? No, Satoko was pushing her hard. Moving fast, she was driving Rena into a corner. Rena was usually gentle and slow, but today she was different. She was very serious today, and yet, Satoko was still overwhelming her. She's a tough customer even without her tricky traps. Well, yeah, I mean, she's got lots of experience dodging people's attacks. Sorry, that was dark.
最初の威勢はどこへ行ってしまいましたのかしら。いい動きをするね。私も負けられないよ。
By the way, how has Best Girl Teacher not noticed the real gunshots going off and been like, what is going on? Satoko kept moving around, piling on pressure in order to pin Rena down. Oh wait, she's taking her curry break, that's why. She kept shooting, so her tank must have almost been empty, but her shots were still sharp and fast. I noticed a bucket near her feet, which was full of many water guns. I understood seeing that. She had been taking guns from others who were already out of the game. In this battle, reloading bullets' water was more crucial than the actual shooting. The hole that you put the water into and these guns is rather small. To put water through it from a faucet takes time and requires a certain amount of skill. In a battle like this, it would be almost suicidal. I understand that well, so I'd been taking guns from people I defeated, but I could only hold one in each hand. Satoko used a bucket to overcome the limit. She already called the police while eating her curry. Rena looked like she only had one water gun. I'd assumed she had two earlier, but she must have used a lot of water during her lone battle with Satoko. It looked like she was trying to save her water for the right moment, but with Satoko's fierce attacks, it was obvious it was only a matter of time before Rena was driven into a corner. However, Rena is also quite skilled. She only pretended to be driven into a corner, but she was actually luring Satoko to a place where she would have the advantage. There was a narrow, twisting path near the gymnasium warehouse behind the school building. With Rena's water levels running low, she'd only need to turn things around with a single close-range shot. That narrow path was the perfect place for her to do that.
あれあれ、攻撃の手が鈍ってきたね。疲れてきた？
What's the matter? Getting tired?
お気遣いは嬉しいですけど、まだまだでしてよ。それよりそちらのお水は大丈夫ですの？
I wonder if I could splice all of their pictures together for a thumbnail.
さっきから全然打ち返してきませんわよ。ひょっとしてもう玉切れじゃございませんの？そうだと思うならお顔を出してみたらどう？遠慮いたしましてよ。最後の一発を温存しているのは分かっていますわ。一発あれば十分だよ。
You carry for 2 years, you've carried that, now you waste your shot.
体操服を濡らした気の毒だからね。額を打ってあげるね。まさかレナさんとこんなにもスリリングな
I
や
mean,
り
they're
取り
wearing
が
their
できる
gym
なん
clothes,
て
they
思
can
い
just
ません
change
でし
out
た
of them
わ。
afterwards, not that big a deal.
でも最後の一発分の水量では大して勢いもないでしょうから、射程もほとんどないんじゃありません？
Satoko was right about that. Rena had just enough water to make one last shot. As the amount of water left in the tank dwindles, the range of your shots you make shortens. That makes the last shot the shortest and the weakest of them all. Regardless of her absolutely disadvantageous situation, Rena didn't look frustrated. I could tell she had no intention to lose. It was almost like she didn't even see Satoko as a threat.
うまい位置に逃げ込みましたわね。
I think it's time to go back to remake art style, at least just for a little bit.
私もさすがに慎重にならざるを得ませんわ。
Satoko seemed to understand how dangerous Rena's last shot was going to be better. How dangerous Rena's last shot was going to be better than I did, since she was the one actually fighting against her.
私、将棋はあまりやらないんですけれど、こういうのを詰将棋って言うんでございましょうね。
Satoko took out another gun with a full tank and shortened the distance between them slowly and carefully. The gun with a full tank doesn't only have a long range. It also has enough power to make shots more accurate. If they shot at each other in a frontal attack, Satoko would have a 99% chance to win. Even so, Satoko was still afraid of Rena's last shot. Satoko shortened the distance even further, smiling as if unafraid, but I could tell she was actually full of fear. Satoko compared this situation to chess earlier, but it wasn't exactly the same. In chess, you can use some pieces to drive the opponent's king into a corner, but in this case, there were only Rena and Satoko. You can lose some of your pieces in order to achieve a win, but Satoko doesn't have any pieces other than herself. True, a king cannot drive the other king into a corner alone. That's called a stalemate. That's why, while at first glance it looks like Satoko has the absolute advantage, they're actually on equal footing.
さあ参りますわよ。このままチャイムを待つなんて私たちらしくありませんわ。そうだね。勝負しよう。
That's strange, I thought. Rena wouldn't have to move just on a dare from Satoko. What kind of plan does she have? Rena had been hiding behind cover for a while, but she came out without hesitation. I noticed something right away. Rena had a different gun. Satoko seemed to notice it as well.
ここには弾切れになったら逃げ込もうと考えててね。あらかじめ一丁拾って隠してあったの。
Ooh. Damn, she's good. In using a trap at the last moment from a come-behind victory, it was as though she was taking Satoko's best skill from her and firing it right back. Satoko no longer had any advantages now that both of them were pointing their guns at each other with full tanks. But she still looked confident. What was going on? Did she have some kind of plan too? Is she going to use the bucket to defend?
その一丁は私にとっても大切な一丁でしたのよ。どうしてかな。だってその一丁がなかったらレナさんはさっきの銃のまま一撃逆転を狙い続けてこうして私の前に姿を現したりしませんもの。
At that moment, lightning ran through my brain, and I instantly understood the situation. Of course! Rena was in a disadvantageous situation earlier, but it was actually the same for Satoko, since she didn't have a chance to make her shot while Rena was in hiding. Rena had remained cautious in order to hit her with her last shot, and that made it difficult for Satoko to attack her. However, what if Rena didn't need to take the last shot from a come-from-behind victory? No, I said it wrong. What if Rena got a new gun with a full tank? She'd stop hiding and come out to fight against Satoko.
つまりレナさんがここを目指しながら逃げてその銃を拾うことは最初から読んでいましたってことですのよ。
Let Satoko talk crap, Rena. You don't have to listen to her. Just shoot her right now. me talking about Shion in Chapter 5. Rena thought the same thing. She shot at Satoko without any hesitation. But she frowned in confusion a moment later, and her frown made a clicking noise, apparently. What was going on? She couldn't shoot? Was her water gun broken? Or did somebody break it?
水鉄砲なんてちょっと砂粒を入れて空打ちすればすぐに詰まっちゃうんですのよ。
Ooh.
私が切り札をここに一丁持ってることを先に読んで細工したってわけだね。
How'd you reverse my trick?
私いつも言ってましたよ。トラップは最後の最後でほんの一つささやかに。これが究極の美徳でございましてよ。
When it comes to traps, Satoko remained a notch above Rena after all. I couldn't believe Satoko figured out Rena's plan in advance and set up a trap to counter it. Rena, you made a big mistake. I made a huge mistake. You should have kept that old gun with you. You could have at least made that last shot. But it's too late now for you to pick it up again. Rena was in a worse situation than she was before. She couldn't even take another shot.
さて観念なさいませ。
Be prepared.
さっきレナさんは私の額を撃つとか言われましたわね。
It was a bit of a Mexican standoff.
私が逆に額を撃って差し上げましたよ。
Not a Mexican standoff, a Japanese standoff. Sadako slowly narrowed her distance again and pointed the muzzle at Rena's forehead. Rena still didn't look like she'd given up. She still thought the game was undecided.
さとこちゃんもまだまだ甘いね。なんですって？
I think she has low enough
ト
self-esteem
ラッ
as
プで
is.
相手を仕留めたならね。さとこちゃんが余裕を見せるのは勝者の権利だと思う。だけどね、今のさとこちゃんは私を絡め取っただけで仕留めたわけじゃない。余裕を見せるのはまだまだ早い段階だとは思わない？
Well, things are getting nutty. Let's go to the, the original art style for a bit. That's not the face I would expect to make when you do that laugh.
何を言い出すかと思えば、今から仕留めるから同じことですわ。私が逆の立場なら脳書きなんか言わずにさっさと撃つ。
This is so derpy. I actually like Rena's OG art style face, but most of the other characters are a little derpy and the bodies are a little
じ
derpy.
ゃないと負けるから。負ける？誰が？あら、その壊れた水鉄砲でどうやって戦うおつもりで？
The boxing glove hands, yeah.
被弾の定義。
What? I'm going to crush you until you're just this big, Satoko. Oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
水鉄砲というこの容器から出た水が最初に触れたものが標的であった時被弾とする。は？それが一体何だって言うんですの？
When I heard her saying that, I started running. I ran so fast we changed art styles. My target was Rena. Satoko was already dead to me. Wow! That's kind of savage. Why? She was going to be shot by Rena within the second.
レナさんが何を言ってるのか私さっぱりでしたよ。
Keiichi's OG sprite is also great. That's true. Keiichi's OG sprite was good, but Ryunokushiki or whoever was the original artist had a lot more time to work on that one.
その壊れた水鉄砲で何ができるおつもりだか。水鉄砲の中に水があれば戦えるんだよ。
I can smash you over the head with it.
わかんないかな。
Rena raised her broken water gun up high and smashed its handle on the wall of the school building as hard as she could. The plastic broke easily and water flowed out of it.
水鉄砲から出た水が当たればいいんだよ。
Ooh!
水鉄砲のどこから出たかは問題にしてない。
Rena was right. She just saved herself by thinking it through. If she was using a real gun, bullets would only come out of one end of the gun. But this was a water gun. She could make her bullets, water in this case, come out of it from any place, not just the barrel of the gun. Satoko finally realized that she was standing defenselessly in front of Rena. Satoko's trap was successful, but she overestimated its effect. She should have just shot Rena without hesitation before Rena noticed her new water gun was jammed. Yoshi caught you monologuing! She was going to fail because she had grown overconfident of her victory. A second before Satoko pulled the trigger, Rena swung her water gun as if slashing Satoko with a sword. Satoko fired her bullets, but it was too late. A second before Rena would be shot down, a blade of water hit Satoko in the face. No, not hit. It cut her face open.
まだまだ爪が甘かったね。この私が。
Rena ran towards Satoko, who was still standing in shock, and took her water gun. Rena knew I was her last target and that I was running towards her. Please give us a CG, please. Rena, using her superior mobility, began to duck and weave. We were evenly matched. Neither of us neglected to make any effort possible to take advantage of the situation.
最後には一騎打ちになると思ってたよ。やっぱりこうでなくっちゃね。
見直したぜ。とんでもない根性を見せてくれるじゃないか。
You don't have the guts. Oh, yes!
見直したよ
Yes!
り
Yes!
これ直したの方が
Yes!
嬉し
This
い
is
かな。
awesome. This is an awesome CG. I love it. Also, Keiichi looking bussin'. In the... Wow. Also, his gun looks a lot more real than Rena's does. Oh, wow. Oh, okay. Okay. Wow, Rena. You're coming on pretty hard over there. Wow.
負けてくれたらそれでもいいぜ。
ごめんだね。
Okay. We got some sparks flying here, folks. We circled around the construction equipment, trying to take shots at each other. We were both sweating like crazy. But I didn't feel tired. Big drops of sweat tickled as they ran down my body. So anyway, I started blasting. Rapid bursts of water flew across both of our paths. Neither of us had the advantage or disadvantage. I didn't feel elated that I might win or frustrated that I might lose. I was just enjoying this battle with Rena. It was like it's like an erotic dance. The bodies, the sweat, a dance that I couldn't dance alone. A dance that I could only dance with an opponent.
本気のレナはやっぱり冴えるね。見てるだけで震えがくるよ。
そのレナさんと互角に渡り合うなんてケイチさんもやりますわね。
I wish I could see the interpretive dance.
どちらが勝つか全然予想が
Rika,
つきませんです。
Rika, you were killed off screen, just like you were in every chapter except the last one. What happened to you? I'm waiting for Rika to be like, by the way, I never actually was shot. Nipa! Shoots. In fact, none of the observers could tell who was going to win. Neither could we. We had no idea who was going to win. We had no idea when this battle would end. I didn't know why, but it was just great fun to fight against Rena, and I didn't even care if I won or lost. In fact, I never even wanted it to end. As we fired at each other, both of our tanks emptied, shortening our range. The teacher's like, "Class started 30 minutes ago!" Inevitably, we became more and more like a melee than a gun battle. Melee! We fired our water guns as if trying to cut each other with blades of water, swinging the gun like a sword. We both came up with the idea to swing the gun hard to generate centrifugal force in order to increase the range of our attacks. I dived to duck her shot. I rolled on the ground and landed on my feet. I ducked her shot again and swung my gun like a sword. I did an air jump. I wave dashed. Who could have imagined that our club's water gun battle would turn into a one-on-one close combat like this? Absolutely nobody.
ああ、やっぱりレナもそう思うか。
This is one of my favorite
圭一君も
CGs.
そう思うんだ。
This CG is equal parts awesome and adorable. It's great. We're both breathing hard, calculating the timing needed to take a closer step. And then, we both grinned wickedly at each other.
やり合うのが楽しくてならねえぜ。決着がつくことすら興ざめするくらいにな。
This is... Screenshot this. Save this for later, because I guarantee there's going to be a part later on in the chapter where they're like, "Why is it so bad? Why can't it go back to where it was with the water gun fight at the beginning?"
負けても恨まないでね。
ああ、恨まない。この勝負を終わらせた自分の不甲斐なさを恨んでやるぜ。だがそいつを恨むのはどうやらレナの方になりそうだな。
どうかな。圭一君、足が藁だよ。
Yeah, as great as the music is, what's the other song here? It's the exact same one. Anime power up!
すごい。なんだかものすごくかっこいい。前原さん、頑張れ。龍河さん、しっかり。
I became relaxed enough to enjoy the battle, and I finally realized that many of our classmates were watching our one-on-one fight. I barely had any water left. I would have to make the next shot count or I was done for. It seemed like Rena was in the same situation too.
泣いても笑っても次で終わりだな。
I was waiting for it to be like a choice-based thing here, but then I remembered I disabled choices.
水が有限なのが惜しいぜ。
限りがあるから美しい。花も一緒だよ。
なるほどな。
Huh.
そういう見方もあるか。
本当に楽しかった。でもこれで終わりだね。
だな。無粋かもしれんが勝って決着させてもらうぜ。
上等だよ圭一君。
負けて泣くなよ。
勝負。
乗ったー。
どっちが勝ったんですの？
It's a tie! The cries of the cicadas echoed in the quiet schoolyard. They sounded like the hand of a watch ticking away the seconds. Neither one of us moved. We took our final shots and now stood motionless. It looked like one of those duels in Western movies.
どっちが先に？
The OST was so goated, there's no need for a second version. You know, it was a pretty amazing song.
わかんない。全然見えなかった。
Our classmates broke the silence first. They finally realized that our intensely beautiful one-on-one battle was over.
委員長、判定は？
Mion in turn realized that she had to deliver a verdict to end the game. But she was just as stunned as the others, and it took her a moment to recover. Mion was taking time to render her verdict. In fact, Rena and I didn't know who won either. My last shot flew fast and splashed sideways as if a blade had cut her chest. I knew that for sure, but at the same moment Rena's shot hit me in the shoulder. Whoever shot the other first wins, but we didn't know if it was me or her. That's why we stood motionless, waiting for the verdict to be delivered. I say you both win.
リカには見えまして？僕にだってわかるわけないのです。
Okay, Rika's apparently not that clairvoyant.
どっちの勝ちなの？
Everybody held their breath, waiting for Mion to call it. Dun, dun, dun. Rena and I kept staring at each other. The spectators were the only ones who were interested in who the winner was. To us, it wasn't that important. We had a great battle. We had both really wanted to do better than the other. We both wanted to call it a tie. For this great battle, settling for a tie would be the best and most proper option. In other words, this one-on-one fight wasn't a battle to decide the winner. It seemed like everybody is thinking the same way.
みー判定が出ないと二人とも動けませんです。
あ、
Call it. You have to call it. Mion hates to settle for a tie because she loves to draw a line between superiors and inferiors. She got a problem. She tends to settle for a tie when deciding who's the loser because it's more fun to have as many people as possible suffer the punishment, but she's never settled for a tie between winners before. Mion holds a special feeling towards the meaning of being number one. Everybody continued holding their breath, awaiting her verdict. Please make it a tie. Everybody wished for that in their hearts. Mion was hesitating to make the decision. She could have chosen a winner more easily if one of us did even a little bit better than the other. But even if one of us did a little better than the other, I feel like nothing fits better than settling for a tie.
今日の二人は見事だったよ。
Mion finally started speaking.
ケイちゃんもレナもここしばらくの連敗に発奮し、最高の力を発揮してくれた。
Well, thanks. I got a lot of skill level ups.
その瞬発力は評価の肯定の段階を超えて、もはや美しいと呼べるまでに昇華されてたよ。
I haven't even seen Old Country for Old Men, but I do know of the coin toss scene.
私は二人の最高の戦いぶりに評価を惜しめない。
じゃあ決着はどうなるんですの？
快速の精神から1位を二人に認定するのは好ましくない。でも二人にはわずかの優劣もなく、どちらを膠着させるかの判断もとてもつかな
Therefore,
い。
I am Heikin.
よって本日の戦いを預かり勝負とし、
Hey, hey!
後日改めて決着をつけることといたしたい。
Screenshot that! That's gonna happen later as well. I expected that she might settle for a tie, but I never thought she'd make us have another battle.
エバラさん、すごかったですよ。
Bro, I heard you rooting for Rena back there.
かっこよすぎます。竜宮さんにもしびれました。なんかこう、まあ
It was like, you know?
見てるこっちまで熱くなるというか。
Cypher's always looking out for the town, you know? The classmates rushed forward towards us and praised us for showing them something that cool. Rena and I were finally released from the tension of battle and dropped to our knees.
残念。決着をつけ損なったね。
まあな、次の機会を楽しみにしようぜ。
肩を貸してほしいな。
Ooh, wow, Rena's really laying on the smoothness.
先に言うな。俺が借りようと思ったのに。
We both smiled at each other. It was the first time we ever hit it off like this.
それはそうと。
うまいことやったよな。
うまいことって何がですの？みーちゃん、うまいこと言って今日の罰ゲームうやむやにする気だ。
ギク。
For shame.
かっこつけときながら、保身第一ってあたりがミオンっぽい。逃げたぞ。図星かよ。
I mean, class started 2 hours ago, so... The bell rang, a sign that class was over, while we all laughed at Mion. After that...
二人ともお疲れ様なのです。
Thanks, Rika.
タオルをどうぞなのです。
Rika-chan held out a towel, a big smile on her face. However, Rena and I stepped back and pointed our water guns at her.
みー、もうみんなにいっぱいいっぱい撃たれましたのです。
Were you?
もう撃たれてると言っても誰も信じてくれないのですよ。
Rika-chan was soaking wet. Well, nobody believed her because she really could be that sneaky, pretending that she was hit in order to stay in the game.
普段が普段でございますものね。信じろというのが難しい相談でございましてよ。
She got a point, Rika. You're sneaky.
みん んながいじめるのです。
Don't try to guilt trip us.
僕はもう一人ぼっちなのです。段ボール箱の中でミーミー泣いて、誰も拾ってくれないかわいそうな猫さんなのですよ。
I guess when Rena and Keiichi held hands, I didn't know if that was like a holding hands thing or if it was like a handshake of like a great job. I interpreted it as a more romantic thing since Rena's been laying that on pretty thick.
ミー。
Uh-oh. The sound came from Rena's head. I saw a circle of smoke coming off of it. Rena must have pictured Rika-chan meowing like a cat from a cardboard box. Uh-oh.
リカちゃん捨ててあるよ、捨ててある。レナが拾うよ。お持ち帰り。
Ouch! Beep beep! Beep beep. Roadrunner just showed up. Rena, you're ruining how cool we looked at earlier. Rena was back to her normal self and jumped on Rika-chan like a chameleon capturing its prey. Chameleons don't jump. They just use their large tongues. Rika-chan struggles to get away.
はい皆さん早く教室に戻りなさい。
Come on! Don't make best girl wait. Chi-sensei clapped her hands and yelled at us from the window of the teacher's office.
行こうぜみんな。
Everyone exchanged smiles and ran back to the classroom. Higurashi when they cry. New tips unlocked. Pleasant weather. How wonderful. And we get our first achievement, the Great Water Gun Disaster. Participate in the Grand Melee. Let's view the new tips. Oh, I don't like the new tip screen music. It's way too simple. Pleasant weather. Ooh, nice piano music. One reason I like my house is because it has good ventilation. As long as there's a nice breeze, I don't have to rely on a fan to keep me cool. I can take down my futon from the windowsill, place my cushion near the open window, and enjoy the cool breeze of the evening. According to my page-a-day calendar, it's June 1983 today. While it was still June, it seemed like summer skipped the rainy season and was already coming around the corner. This was very abnormal, apparently. Even if it was abnormal weather that only comes around once 100 years, if it was supposed to come in June of 1983, then it wasn't so much of a big deal. It was inevitable. On the other hand, the sudden evening shower on the way home from school was more unpredictable than anything else. Every day had been in perfect harmony, as if it was all carefully planned. I felt like something good was going to happen this year. Yeah! About that. How should I put it? It's like the feeling I get when I roll a 6 on the first throw of a board game and start off with a huge lead. When it comes to a die, the more you roll it, the more it total averages out. We actually roll a die many times every day of our lives. So it's not like one stroke of luck is really a big deal to be overly happy with. If I roll a 6 on my first throw and a 1 on the next throw, the total is 7. If you believe in fate, you might say there's a higher possibility of a 1 to come up on the die. But you can never actually tell what number you will roll. That's what fate is all about. You might roll a 6 again. The chance of rolling a 6 twice in a row is 1 out of 36, but if you look at each throw one by one, there's only a 1/6 chance of that miracle. True. The glass wind chime Satoko put up yesterday was making a refreshing sound. That's the gambler's fallacy, right? Where the odds of rolling 2 6s in a row is 1 in 36, but if you've already rolled the first 6, then the odds of you rolling 2 6s is 1 in 6. Food for thought. Food for thought. I don't know who was speaking. I think it was the author who was speaking. I awoke from my dream, still feeling excited. Okay, so Rena is telling the story of how she tried her best, but it's narrated by Keiichi and his thoughts. Okay, let's go. Still feeling excited. I must have had a very happy dream. I already forgot what it was about. It felt as if there was a switch that automatically made me forget my dreams when I opened my eyes. All I could remember is that it was a happy dream. Uh-oh, wait, don't tell me we dreamed of the water fight. I looked at the ceiling and enjoyed the happy feeling for a while. It was Sunday. Outside the window, I could hear the morning bird song that sounded totally different from what I heard on the weekdays. The morning bird song on weekdays sounds like they're in a rush, as if they're telling me to hurry to school, but on Sunday, it's different. I can tell that the birds are singing simply because they want to tell everybody how great of a morning it is. I even felt like the birds that sing on the weekdays must be different birds from the ones that sing on Sunday. I wonder if there really are birds that only sing on Sunday. Sounds like a very luxurious job for some reason. It's a waste to listen to such valuable birdsong when you're not quite awake. As I fully awaken, my normal crude personality takes over, and I start feeling stupid to even think that there might be birds that sing only on Sunday. As I yawned and stretched, my blood started circulating through my entire body. It felt good. I turn over and look at the clock, which says it's past 10 a.m. Oh my gosh. Sleeping past 10. Is that something I will ever be able to do again? Probably not. I used to go to my cram school on Sunday at 10 a.m. That was before I moved to Hinamizawa, back when I cared about my grades. My parents made me go to several cram schools back then. I remember that the one I had to go to on the first and third Sundays of the month were the hardest ones of all, because I had to change trains several times to get there. I was never allowed to sleep in so late back then. My mom always woke me up early so that I didn't miss my classes. That's probably why I always dreamed of being able to wake up whenever I wanted on a Sunday. Such a simple pleasure. Needless to say, I don't feel that way anymore now that I moved to Hinamizawa. After all, I can always sleep till noon on Sunday now. My life has changed completely since I moved here. Before, I used to think living in the countryside would be really inconvenient. To be honest, I wasn't even interested in living here. But it was only the first few days that I felt that way. Now I don't feel attached to life in the city or its conveniences. City life sucks. When I think about what part of my life in Hinamizawa I'm the most attached to, I'd have to say, it's probably my friends. I guess the reason why I'm being so sentimental is probably because I had so much fun yesterday in the water gun fight with all my classmates. Oh, that's right, they have to go to school on Saturday. Despite my age, I got so into it and had so much fun. I bet the kids in the city wouldn't be able to play like that. No. I should say they wouldn't even want to in the first place. They wouldn't even realize how exciting a simple water gun fight could be. I went downstairs and saw my parents watching a serious TV program, arguing about the topic together.
だいたい日本の電話料金は高すぎるんだ。
If you think that's bad, Keiichi's dad, wait till you see taxes in America.
国が電話事業を独占してるからこういうことになるんだ。
Wait till you see taxes literally anywhere.
でも民間企業ってのは営利団体なのよ。慈善団体なわけじゃないんだし、全国一律のサービスを本当に維持できるわけ？
Wait, hang on. This is actually an interesting debate. I want to hear more about this. The experts on TV were arguing about the same thing. It seemed like there's a possibility the telephone service will get privatized. I'm too young to understand how privatization could make things better. But I can easily assume that some people will start talking about privatizing the postal services in the near future too. My parents were arguing about the topic fiercely, but they got along very well. Let's put it this way. They can get along well, and that's why they argue. I don't remember seeing them get along this well when they were living in the city. This is probably one of the things that got better since we moved to Hinamizawa. A cold relationship between parents doesn't bring any benefit to their kids.
あらケイチ、日曜にしては早いわね。
Slept in until after 10. Oh, you're up early today. Oh, Keiichi, bruh.
朝ごはん食べる？
今日はいらない。あと今日は外で食べるから昼飯もいらないや。
Nah, I'm gonna go to Hooters again.
なんだ、友達と一緒か。圭一がよく話す部活というやつか？
いや、今日は部活じゃない。昨日の罰ゲームというか、なんというか。
They're like, I'm not even gonna ask. Someone rang the doorbell. I hope it's Best Girl. I looked at the clock and noticed it's time to meet Rena. I guess I spent too much time enjoying waking up late. I ran upstairs to get a change of clothes. Hey, girl! Okay, it's second Best Girl. I quickly changed and ran to the front door. Rena was chatting with my parents. I always feel uncomfortable when my parents talk to my friends. Keiichi, your friends are weird! I'm afraid they'll say something embarrassing about me. If they told Rena that I wet my bed till I was redacted years old or something. She wouldn't wait until Monday to tell everybody in my school, or maybe even everybody in Hinamizawa.
よう、レナ。おはよう。待たせて悪い悪い。
ケイチくん
Rena and my parents looked at me and laughed. I said good morning and they laughed. I guess I was too late. My parents must have already told Rena some embarrassing secrets about me. I don't want my parents to tell her anything else, so I put on my shoes in a rush and pushed Rena out of the house. My parents waved at us, smiling.
いってらっしゃい。レナちゃん、ケイチをよろしくお願いね。
That's how much faith they have in their son. They're just like, thank goodness the next door neighbor girl we've only known for a few months is here. She can take care of things.
はい、おばさま。ケイチ君はレナがちゃんと面倒を見ますから。
It's hard to believe that this girl was unfathomably terrifying in Chapter 1.
何の面倒だか知らんが、見んでいい見んで。
I dragged Rena away from the house and we were on our way. We rode our bicycles to the town of Okinomiya. It's a long way away. No. You know who lives here. It's an easy ride to the town because it's mostly downhill. But needless to say, it's a hard ride on the way back. I felt like Rena was giggling whenever she looked at me. I badly wanted to know what kind of embarrassing information my parents had fed her before I came downstairs. I tried to give her a new subject to talk about in order to get whatever she heard from my parents out of her mind.
レナって
See, this is the
何気にうちの親と仲いいよな。
See, this is the kind of paranoia that's not creepy, it's just weird.
仲いいよ。よくお話しするもん。
よくお話っていつしてるよ。
Oh boy.
俺は見かけたことないぞ。
おばさまとはよくお買い物の時に会うかな。特売日とかポイントセールの日なんかはよく会うね。
She knows the beauty of bargain day. I bet Rena and Mrs. Maibara would both go to Costco if they had one. Actually, Japan does have Costco now, and apparently it's like huge. Everyone loves it because, you know, everything's a good deal. Yeah, I think she did. I think Miss Maibara did say for Rena to take care of Keiji. She's also like, Keiji, don't keep Rena waiting. She's such a sweet girl. But that was before she like tried to break down our door.
ああ、確かにお袋は特売日とかまめにチェックしてるな。
Did you see a photo of Keiji kissing the TV screen when a pretty woman was on screen? Why would they have a photo like that in the house?
冷蔵庫のとこに磁石でいろいろとメモが貼ってあってさ、どこそこで何がいつ安いなんてのが書いてあるのを見かけるよ。
それでね、今夜は何にしましょうねって話をしながら一緒に買い物するの。
Aw, that's sweet. You know, again, if Keiichi and Rena are like destined to end up together, that's really wholesome.
カレールーが特売だから今夜はカレーにしようかななんて話になると、じゃあうちも
Also,
なんて
Rena
感じ
does
で。
the grocery shopping for her household? Does she live alone?
そういえ
I
ば
don't
一昨日
remember.
はカレーだ
I
な。
don't remember little details like that if she lives alone or whatnot. Pretty much everybody else lives alone, and then Mion lives in a mansion with Demon Granny.
じゃあレナのとこもカレーだったわけか？
そうな、一昨日はポークカレーだったでしょ。
No. Okay, Rena, we're getting dangerously close to the creepy
豚
part
肉
of
が安
chapter
かっ
1.
たから一緒に買ったの。
But you were there with our mom. You weren't there hardcore
だから
stalking
ね、
us, so.
だからね、私の家でもカレーを食べながら、今頃ケイ
Yeah,
チ君も同じカレーを食べてるんだろう
When
な
I
って思っ
was
てた。
eating curry at home, I knew you were having the same dinner. So this implies Rena eats alone. That's sad. So she knows what I'm eating for dinner almost every day. She has a father. Well, okay, she obviously has to have a father. I just don't know if he's in the picture or not. It didn't bother me, but I did feel kind of embarrassed. Also, if you know and it hasn't been revealed in a previous chapter, don't tell me. Because that
お
might
じ
be
さまとは
spoilers.
お買い物の時に一緒に会うことが多いかな。
Oh, that's nice. They go
ケ
together.
イチ君のおじさまとおばさま、本当に仲良しなんだね。
There has to be one set of functional parents in this
そう
game.
いえばよく一緒に買い物に行くな。
It's sad that the second most functional pair of parents go to the Yakuza boss parents.
確かにいい年して仲はいい方だと思う。
やっぱり両親の仲がいいのはとても大事なことだと思うよ。お買い物にも一緒だなんて、なんだか素敵で羨ましいな。
なんだかさっきから俺の親の話ばかりで恥ずかしいぞ。レナのとこはどうだよ。
Oh, we're about to learn. Maybe.
仲いいか？
仲いいよ。
Oh,
いつもべったりしてる。
really?
だからね、レナに居場所がない。
Oh, really? Her parents are a lovey-dovey couple, huh? Well, that's cute. I hope if I get married, I'm still lovey-dovey with my wife when we're older. I've never met Rena's mother, but I imagine she's just like Rena. I can easily imagine her mother going crazy about the spot her husband missed when shaving because it looks so cute to her, like sesame seeds on white rice. Oh no, are we about to get an annoying, weird Keiichi imagine spot? I wouldn't call Keiichi's parents functional. How often do they just leave their son home alone? Keiichi's a big boy. He can take care of himself. Actually, apparently he can't. He almost set the house on fire if it wasn't for Satoko. So maybe not. She must love to touch her husband's chubby stomach. Stop, bro. Like, this is weird. It was so funny how easily I can imagine her mother doing those things. You're weird. You are very weird.
突然笑い出すなんて
Rena, you don't want to know. Honey, you really don't.
レナの家のおばさんがどんな人かものすごい気になるぞ。
That's a weird thing to say. I'm a big fan of your mom.
俺も今度レナのおばさんに会ってみることにするぜ。
ダメだよ、ダメ。
レナだって俺のお袋と話をしてるじゃないかよ。ならおあいこだろ？
Rena's mom hasn't left the house since 1951, so.
はあ、だってケイチくんなんかがあってもいいことないよ。全然立派な人じゃないし。
会う前からかなり予想はついてるん
Keiichi,
だ
you're
けど
being
な。
really weird.
ズバリレナにそっくりだろ？
そんなことない。
No, I inherited all of my looks from my dad.
全然似てないよ。
Actually, I don't look anything like my parents because I'm an anime character.
その過剰な反応が雄弁に答えを物語ってるぞ。
I wonder if her parents are the type to go partying or something and leave her alone. Oh, are they? They're partying it up at Afroman's house with the lemon pound cake.
とにかくレナのおばさんに興味が出たぜ。今度ご
This is
挨
so-
拶に伺うからな。
Don't just
覚悟し
tell.
てやがれ。
Don't just say to your female friend that who may or may not have romantic interest in you, being like, "Man, I'm really interested in your mom. I really want to meet her." That's so weird.
はあ、そんなのダメダメダメ。ケイチくんがレナの家に来たらレナ怒るよ。すっごい怒る。
普段お宅のお嬢さんに大変お世話になっております。
Keiichi.
いや、お嬢さんと真剣なお付き合いをさせてもらってるものです。くらいの方が面白いかもしれないな。
Wow. They're really laying on the Keiichi X Rena this chapter.
もしうちに来たらみーちゃんたちにケイチくんのちっちゃい頃の話をしちゃおうかな。
Why is it that they're like in the 2 minutes Keiichi was changing, they're like, let's tell her the embarrassing stories about when Keiichi's little. Like, why would parents do that?
ちっちゃい頃とは
Like, my parents
具体
would
的には
not do
いく
that
つの頃のエピソードだ。
ever. I don't understand why some would just immediately are like, we have to do it. We have to tell this. Of all the stories, we have to tell this one.
レナがおばさまに聞いたのは
It's just the same
4
music.
つの時の話と6つの時の滑り台の話とあと
すみませんでしたレナさん。レナさんの目の黒いうちは竜宮家の半径100メートルには絶対近寄ら
I
ない
mean,
ようにする
you
っす。
should meet her parents at some point, but if she doesn't want you to, let's just take the hint and not be weird.
ありがと
Rena's parents got shot. Doesn't have anything to do with us shooting everything like yesterday, does it? You actually have a serious thought. What if Rena's family are hoarders, and that's why she doesn't want Keiichi to meet them? Huh. That would be interesting. Damn it, Mom! I'll remember this. I mean, to be fair, Keiichi, you don't really help out around the house very much, so we arrived at the station. The place we're going to today is right near there. It's a restaurant called Angel. Why are we going to Hooters again? I hate it. We were meeting up with the others there. Why would we meet up at Hooters? Oh no, it's because of you-know-who. I was surprised when I saw the restaurant. It's usually a normal and quiet restaurant, but today there were many people in front of it. Is it free dessert day? Is it free burger day again? They didn't look like they were waiting in line to get inside. It looked more like they were just loitering around. They should just line up and go inside like normal people.
うわー、なんだよこれ。すっげえ人だな。
今日はイベントデーだからね。
Free
こ
burger
の日のため
day.
にすっごい遠くから来てる人たちも大勢いるんだって。
Everybody goes to Hooters for the day they get the free desserts. Or just go for the desserts. There's a flag saying Dessert Festa in front of the restaurant. It's the only dessert place in Okinomiya. They don't have a Dairy Queen? I heard that Angel Mort hosts events like this several times a year, and a lot of people come to attend from all over.
今日のデザートフェスタはね、抽選に当たってチケッ
We
トがもら
already
え
saw
た
this
人
in
しか
Chapter
入
2.
店できないの。
And that took like 3 videos to get through.
でね、1枚のチケットで4人まで入場できることになっててね。
なるほどな。チケット持ってる友人が来るのをこうして店の前で待ってるわけか。
ちょっと違うかな。
Actually, they're waiting to rob people.
チケットの人にはね、たまに4人未満で来る人もいるの。
Okay, she did that in Chapter 2 as well, Mion, making fun of her not being feminine. Now he made a similar joke saying he was going to tell Rena's mom he's interested in being serious with her. Yeah, Keiichi just doesn't really know how to think before he speaks.
つまりなんだ、落選者たちがチケット当選者のおこぼれに預かろうと
That's
こう
surprisingly
して
nice
群
of
がってる
them.
ってわけ
You
なのか。
don't need 4 people, you just can't have up to 4 people. At that time, the crowd of people roared in excitement. What was going on?
こいつチケット持っているでござるよ。チケットは4人まで入れるのに1人で入ろうなんておこがましいにゃりん。残り3人の枠にぜひ加えてくださいにゃ。
No, Otaku, we don't want to be with you.
僕を仲間に加えてくれたらエンジェルモートトレカのレアカードを申請するよ。
In Keiichi's defense, he's what, like a 15-year-old boy? I wouldn't want to be judged on who I was as a 15-year-old boy either.
おいらならフロントフィールドの夏コミ新刊を限定本付きで。
日暮ベータ版世界モード搭載版で譲って。
Oh, dang! Wait, we gotta get that one. I would go with man there. That's so meta. It's hilarious.
G 氏の魔改造フィギュアでなんとか。
Nah, I don't go for that.
俺はこのお米券でどうだ。
As opposed to fake, bro. The whole point of this is it's free dessert day, and you're spending $100 to get in. That's not free desserts.
の愚か者。
Oh no, we got a Reddit mod here.
よくわからん騒ぎになっとるぞ。
Yeah, just ignore the otakus.
このお店のコアなファンはちょっと怖いからね。
Yeah, we literally last time had to like destroy the men's room in order to make them leave.
ところで
I think that's what
俺たち
happened.
のチケットってのはどうなってるの？
I don't actually remember what happened. It was something involving Rika in the bathroom that like forced everyone to leave. What about our ticket?
第一、俺たちメンバーって5人組だろ？
That's where the loser's gonna have to
チケッ
sit
トの
out.
定員じゃ。
ほら、このお店みーちゃんの親類のお店だからね。
ミオンって時々すげえよ
Oh,
な。
I thought we were someone who's gonna just stuff Rika under their hat because she's that small. Rena makes a fist and gets all fired up. What did I say? You're getting mad at me for this one?
じゃあ行こ
You're definitely coming back after this scene. You hate the weird otaku stuff. Yeah, I don't blame you.
う。一気に駆け
If
抜
it
ける
gets
から
really
ね。
bad, I'll just fast forward for
そ
some.
れが最良の策みたいだな。よし。
We nodded at each other, since we were a group of 2 at present. It looked like we had 2 more seats to share. These people might try mobbing us in order to get a share. We crouched down, getting ready to run. The crowd of people seemed to notice us.
あの二人強行突破を試みるつもりにゃりん。
Okay, this is terrible. This is like This is like when you're just trying to enjoy a nice, relaxing vacation and you just got scammers constantly trying to take your money.
しかも女子と二人きりでボックスシートを埋めようとは不届き千万。
The entitlement here is insane.
一緒に座ってラブラブな空気を打ち砕いてやるでござる。
I love how we don't even get to see their photos, but I already know exactly what they all look like.
最後の一発まで抵抗しろ。
And I'll just say this, when combined, they could not get in an elevator together.
ゲルマンの鉄の意志を見せてやるのだ。
Oh no, the Germans? What? Damn, they were going to tackle us. Well, I mean, I don't know, guys. Germans are generally pretty cool. I don't think they've ever been evil. They'll do whatever it took to stop us from getting inside the restaurant. This is
今日
harassment?
はみーちゃんたちみんなの罰ゲームの日。
What?
私たちがお店に入れなかったら昨日の勝利が
Oh
無意味になっちゃう。
no. I know what. Oh. I really hope I'm wrong about this, but I'm just willing to bet that the punishment is going to be they all have to wear the stupid outfit.
それだけは認められねえな。
I guarantee you.
俺たちがベストを尽くして得た勝利だ。
I've never seen Pokemon scalpers. I am not a Pokemon fan. Like, at all. My Pokemon knowledge comes from Smash Bros.
だからミオンたちの罰ゲームを見届けるのは権利であり。
義務でもあるもんね。
とかっこよく決めたところで下心丸出しなんだけどな。
I'm after the free desserts. Although I'd much rather go to Dairy Queen.
さとこちゃんやリカちゃんどんな格好かな。
See, no, see, they are gonna put the little girls in the fetishy outfits. This is gonna be terrible.
お持ち帰り。
ヤングカップルめ。
That was one of the creepiest laughs I've ever heard. That's how I picture Reeve to sound in Sacred Stones.
おとなしくチケットを差し出すでござるよ。
Dude, screw off.
ここは通さねえぜ。
These guys are the worst.
エンジェルモートのイベントチケットを2人だけで消化しようなどとは許せんやりん。
Why couldn't Shion have killed these people last chapter? I would have been much more on her side.
余った枠に我らを加えるでござるよ。
Can we? See, this would never happen in America because concealed carry. They reached their hands towards us like zombies. They gradually got closer and closer. Yeah, this is harassment and assault. We were actually taking it easy, though. In fact, I'd say the situation was rather enjoyable.
なんだか昨日の部活がまだ続いてるみたいだね。
Yeah, but this time we brought airsoft guns.
ああ、なんだか面白くなってきたぜ。連中を蹴散らして一気に行くぜ。
了解。みーちゃんやさとこちゃんを相手に回すよりは簡単かな。
Well, yeah, it's easier because if you beat them up, Rena, nobody's gonna believe that you beat them up. But if you beat up, Satoko, you just beat up a kid. So you're gonna get in trouble for that one.
だな。他の部活メンバーを敵に回すのに比べたら。
Pokemon scalpers, they're grown men trying to get Pokemon cards to resell them at expensive prices and ruin everything for children. It's got to a point that at Targets and Walmart limit people to 1 or 2 packs per person. Wow. I feel like even Peter Pan would tell them to grow up. And that's saying something.
悪いが、俺たちを止めるには人数がちょいと足りないぜ。
よーし、じゃあ行くよ。
おう。
But go for broke. Our enemies number about 20 to 30? There are that many fat Reddit mods out here? If they wanted to stop us, they should have gotten 10 times more people than that. Yeah, but they wouldn't fit. Also, they didn't want to leave the house. Wait, is that... You're just gonna end the scene with us beating up 30 Reddit mods off camera? I wanted that to happen on camera. This is where I pray that I am wrong and that they're not actually going to put the 10-year-old, 12-year-old girls in the Hooter outfits.
本日はイベントデーになりますが、チケットはお持ちですか？
チケットはないですけど、名乗ればいいと言われてます。竜宮レナと前原圭一です。
ただいまリストを確認しております。少々お待ちください。
Seems like many fans of this restaurant aren't normal people. Yeah! It's Hooters! I bet they try to get in with lies or fake tickets. No wonder this waitress makes sure to check the list.
いや、しかし恐ろしい連中だった。
Yeah, good thing we beat them up.
あんなのがひしめいていたら健全な客は店内までたどり着けないぞ。
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you should have the police be like, yeah, you can leave or you can leave in a police car.
そうかもだね。でもレナの行く手を阻むことは誰にもできないんだよ。はう。
それはそうと相変わらずのキレだったな。あれは肘か膝か？
You know, if they had apple pie ice cream sundaes, I think I'd fight to get in too. Okay, well, apple pie is pretty epic. Although, I gotta say, most store-bought apple pies, not very good. But my homemade apple pies, oh, those are something special.
顔面の急所を正確にぶち抜くとは恐ろしいやつ。
Well, Rena can get away with it. The way Rena swept them off their feet with her super fast invisible jabs was incredible. Oh my gosh, she's a chi blocker? It even gave me a chill just thinking about it.
だって レナのお持ち帰りを邪魔するんだもん。
Rena, you might want to work on your phrasing a bit.
きっとみんな可愛いよ。みんなお持ち帰り。
I hope they're all in jeans and a sweatshirt.
怪異モードのレナが相手じゃな。まあ連中もあれだけ派手にぶちのめされれば敗北を受け入れられるだろう。
I can't wait for them to cry on Reddit about it.
ケイチ君だってすごかったよ。大勢に囲まれて飲み込まれたと思ったら急にシーンとなって、その後みんな涙を流しながら道を開けてた。なんでかな。
いや別に落選したお前たちの代わりにこの俺が入店してやる。お前たちの分まで俺が見届けてきてやる。
Do you think that the Reddit mods really want the 3 desserts? Or are they just trying to leer at the girls in the fetishy outfits? Or both? You decide.
だからどうしよくん、今は涙を流しても次の抽選の勝者になれ。
No, don't cave to them.
とまあそのあたりのことを少々語ったらみんな理解してくれたようで。
ケイチ君ってアジテーション得意だよね。聞いている人を共感させる能力というか。
I'm just picturing like 30 guys that look like Salmonella from Ace Attorney.
我が部の口先の魔術師って感じ。
その口先の魔術師ってもう他の通り名はないのかよ。
どうだろうね。考えてみるね。
Rena laughs loudly.
大変お待たせしました。リストにお名前を確認しました。お席へご案内します。どうぞこちらへ。
The waitress led us to our seats. The restaurant was completely packed today. Yes, look at all the people in here. It made for a cheerful but sort of crazy atmosphere. All the customers in the restaurant were very, unique people, just like the ones loitering around outside. There was an aura of excitement in the store, but it also smelled a bit sweaty. Yeah, gross. They were also talking excitedly using special terms I don't understand. Again, just like the people outside.
やはりエンジェルモートは制服
Okay, nope, they just are into the fetishy uniforms.
食は舌で味わうものでござるが、エンジェルモートは目で味わうのでござるよ。
This is disgusting.
今日は大変のウェイトレスさんはいないでござるか。
Well, nobody's ordering the watermelon milkshake today, so I don't think she's gonna have those.
女の子のローテのチェッカー基本ですよ。
These guys are leches.
ツンデレ好きならカー木の17時以降は絶対抑えたいですね。
This is terrible.
逆属性の方は金曜17時以降が勝負。
I regret coming here today. Yeah, that's gonna be the thumbnail for the VOD. Unless we get an amazing CG, that's gonna be the thumbnail. At the same time, I was really glad that I didn't lose the game yesterday. This punishment might be a bit easier for the girls. Yeah! But as a guy, if I had to undergo this punishment today, I would have been kicked and punched by these crazy customers because they would have been burning with anger. Let me explain. I didn't come here just to eat lunch with Rena today. The punishment is as follows. Losers have to wear a costume that was chosen randomly and help with the event at Angel Mort as a waitress. Okay. Chosen randomly. So maybe it's not going to be the fetishy outfit on the 12-year-olds. That's really all I'm hoping for. Please don't do that. The winners can enjoy eating desserts, receiving service from the losers. I don't want to get served by the 12-year-olds in fetishy uniforms, though. When this punishment was announced, I'd actually prepared myself for the punishment because I thought I'd lose the game like always. This explains why he was so desperate to not lose. I was losing a lot recently, so I didn't think I could win. I assume Rena felt the same way. Oh, Rika in a full penguin suit. That would be great. Who could imagine Rena and I doing so well as to win? You're great, Keiichi Maibara. You made me proud. Everybody started shouting, clapping their hands, whistling for joy. I don't blame them. They came here just for the event at Angel Mort. None of them expected to see the waitresses wearing different costumes like this.
Me.
No! No! They put her in the fetishy outfit, and that's the worst one. I'm not using this as a thumbnail. Either that or I'm cropping it so it's just Rena freaking out.
まあ待て、落ち着けレナ。ここでお持ち帰ったら罰ゲームにならん。
No, you can't. Rika-chan appears with glasses of water and wet napkins on a tray. They drew lots to decide on the costumes. Rika-chan's costume is the uniform of Angel Mort, which we use primarily for punishments. Why? Why?
いらっしゃいませ。エンジェルモートへようこそなのですよ。
You gotta protect this poor girl from the otakus and the Reddit mods. Rika-chan put the glasses of water and the wet napkins in front of Rena and me.
かいよ。お持ち帰り。
Do not let her near the Reddit mods. Rena raised her weird voice, and everybody in the store followed suit.
お持ち帰り。
Very creepy. Everyone started shouting the phrase. Before I knew it, they were surrounding our table trying to burn the scene of Rika-chan serving customers into their minds. Oh, can we please get these out of here? Oh, no, this is terrible. This is terrible. That still is terrible. That still is terrible. They're all terrible. Which is the least terrible? I think this is the least terrible.
ジロジロ見られると恥ずかしいのです。
そういえばおなじみのエンジェルモート制服だが、
それはですね。
Why are these kids here at Hooters?
僕が説明いたします。
I don't need this. Oh no, we're gonna be fast forwarding a lot of this, aren't we? Tomita, our underclassman, pushed his way for the crowd.
ああ、富田くんじゃないか。
Okay, we can return to. We'll go to the remake art style. That's a little bit less bad.
なんだ、岡村くんも。
It would be funnier and cuter to see Rika trying to balance water on her flipper wing. Well, yes, I know. Oh, yes. Please draw that and post it in the art of the Discord server. Please. I would really like that.
二人とも当選してたのか。
I love seeing your Higurashi fan art.
そんなことはどうでもいいんです、前原さん。
Dude, this is not cool.
それよりも、ここでフルデさんの衣装について説明しましょう。
You're right. That is the important thing, but not for the reason I'm pretty sure you're about to say.
ご存知の通り、エンジェルモートの制服は成熟した女性の魅力を前面に押し出すことを最大の目的とした衣装です。
Why is this middle school kid telling me
よ
about
って
this?
着衣には多少の成熟した年齢相応のプロポーションが必要とされます。
This is
その
terrible.
意味においては未発達な体型であるフルデさんとは最も相性の悪い
Yes!
制
She's
服
like
と言え
12!
るでしょう。
それだけでなく問題となったのはフルデさんの体型に合う
Yes,
サイズ
because
を
they don't
店
employ
舗側が用
children!
意できなかったことにあります。そのためフルデさんはエンジェルモートの制服を着るという罰ゲームを実行するためには工夫をせざるを得なかったのです。そこでフルデさんはプール用の水着で衣装を代用したのですが、それにより神をも予見できなかったであろう水着とエンジェルモート衣装というありえない組み合わせが生まれたのです。
Is every single male character in this game a massive pervert? Dear God!
この武装により現在のフルデさんの攻撃力は従来火力をはるかに凌駕。
I feel like the only person who was even somewhat normal was Akasaka. And even then, he still had his share of like kind of weird moments with Rika.
属性付与状態異常の追加クリティカル発生率の大幅アップ、しかも上昇中には無敵時間まで与えられるに至ったのです。この素晴らしさがわかりますか？わかりますよね。つまりこれを竜宮さん風に言うとこうです。お持ち帰り。
ダメだよ、ダメダメ。お持ち帰るのはレナなんだよ。でも気持ちはわかるよ。お持ち帰り。
And I feel like it's only gonna get worse. Tontaka-kun and Okamura-kun held Rena's shoulders as they shouted the phrase in excitement. The phrase had spread throughout the entire store and was now out of control. I hope we get kicked out, like, immediately. Anyway, Tomita-kun and Okamura-kun surprised me sometimes. For their age, they're so good at giving passionate speeches. They'll probably make it big in the future. I guess Tomatake wasn't that bad. But he also dies so fast, so...
みーちゃんとさとこちゃんは2人も楽しみ。
At that time, the crowd set up another roar. I heard Mion telling them to let her through. I don't remember what kind of costume she picked. What? Who the heck is this guy? Who's this freak?
Kameda-kun kayo.
Is this the weird... Oh, no. Oh, no. No, is this the weird baseball guy from Chapter 3? He has a sprite now? Yes, it is. Why?
Genki.
Ah! His mouth is always open. It just opens more when he's talking. This is a little lazy in the animation department. Coming to Code was in a state of great excitement. Thick veins were displayed on his forehead. The source of that excitement appears through the crowd. Well, that's not as bad. That's basically just the school uniform with the swimsuit. This is terrible. Mion appeared with a cake on a tray. No, she didn't. She definitely does not have a cake on a tray. Oh, now I remember what she picked for her costume. You have a massive problem for being obsessed with forcing Keiichi to wear women's clothing.
前原さん、この格好も並々ならぬものがあります。しかも普段の部活では上昇無敗、完璧鉄壁猛満隊の委員長の普段の姿を知れば知るほどに8枚分。しかし天下無敵の委員長ですら逃れることが叶わないとは。
Mion's costume boxes. Box head, box torso, box skirt length boxes. Yeah, that would be great. Actually, I hope that's like Satoko's. Is this taking place during Chapter 3? Like, surely it can't. This happened in Chapter 3. You don't go to our school, and I don't want you in the club. Okay, why do you sound like you're gargling when you talk? Oh no, the Reddit mods are drooling. We're gonna get kicked out. No, don't tell them that. Otherwise, Hinamizawa's gonna get a massive surge of Reddit mods moving in. Stop there, Rena. The population of Hinamizawa might double by tomorrow. Yeah, these are... Does she have a cat tail in this art style? She has a cat tail in all of them. It's just more subtle in the other ones. This is not a beautiful... I do like Mion's mouth in the OG art style here. This is your fault! I hate you! Why are you here? Oh man, I hope Satoko cosplays as Keiichi. That would be funny. Dude, can you leave? You are adding nothing to this. Because so... Yeah, that's it. Oh my goodness, these girls are so hot. So sexy. Dude, that's like a 12-year-old and a 16-year-old. They're so sexy. Bro, stop talking like you're in Ratatouille. This bro really thinks he's the protagonist of Ratatouille.
ケイちゃんって K って呼ばれてるの？この暴走特急と仲良かったんだ。
Mion, your family runs Hooters. I don't think you're in any position to
全力で無関係を装わせてください。
Me with my annoying friends. No, 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 not Coach. Not Coach. I do not want Coach to be here. Oh my goodness. Coach, you've seen better days. You've seen better days. I forgot how bad you look in the OG art style. He looks so done with life here. And then here he actually looks busted. It was Coach.
許しません。許しませんよ、前原さん。
Coach glared at me in anger. He was breathing hard with a scary expression on his face. How did you get in? Did you get a ticket? Or are you just like, no, he's in here. It's like, sir, you need a ticket.
許さないって、何が許さないんですか?
Surely you know why Coach is here. He's here to perv on the girls. Oh no.
あれですよ!
Eri is going to have a stroke and die. Thankfully, Satoko's outfit is a lot less problematic than the other two. I mean, I know it's supposed to be like, okay, well, that one's a little worse because it's got the very short dress. And she actually looks pretty classy. I'm going to pretend she's wearing, like, tights underneath this. And she actually looks pretty classy. Bang, bang, bam, boom. At the moment of his scream, 3 different metal buckets fell onto his head one after another, and a Chinese walk finished the job. Satoko, you just killed Coach. It's okay, I won't tell on you. Okay, the CG is pretty brilliant now, though. I still hate that Rika has to wear the super fetishy outfit, but it's like, Rika's just like, why am I here? Mion's like, why am I here? And Satoko's like, why is he here? Her face is pretty amazing. Wow.
さとこのメイドさんはある意味命に関わりますです。
At least they didn't make her wear a super sexy maid outfit.
さとこちゃんのメイドさん、かわいいよ。お持ち帰り。
Maybe I'll just, hang on. Maybe I'll make the thumbnail the text of like, I regret coming here with just Satoko's like, face. Maybe that's what I'll try to do.
それはさせません。お持ち帰るのはこの私、入江京介です。
ダメだよ。
Sorry, Coach, they won't let you adopt her.
レナのお持ち帰りを邪魔すると、
You get these nuts. Literally, walnuts on the dessert. Once Rena goes into cute mode, she becomes merciless. If a rock tower tried to sabotage her chance to take her favorites home with her, she'd break it into pieces. If it was a river, she'd fill it up with sand. If it was the sea, she'd split it in half like Moses did and walk through it. What? Coach got up on his feet like a zombie. I couldn't believe he could still get up after being hit by all of her super fast attacks.
無駄ですよ。聞きません。ほら、無駄無駄無駄です。
Why does Coach have to be? Why is Coach being a pervert one of his major personality characteristics? I said it before and I'll say it again. If Coach wasn't a pervert, he'd be one of my favorite characters.
入江は何度でも蘇る。メイドがそこにいれば何度でも蘇る。
No, it's just your
それが人類
dream.
の夢だからだ。
Look, you can have your weird dreams, just don't share them publicly.
グヒブビョ。
You're literally making him barf up blood
それ
right
で
now.
もダメ。レナがお持ち帰り。はう。
Eri was down on the floor, his body twitching. Rena just hit him with a barrage at point-blank range. I do hate this scene. Yes, it's terrible.
圧巻な光景だな。勝ってよかったと同時に、負けてたらその一角に俺がいたかもしれないことを思うと、とても笑えん。
全く悔しいですわね。いくら罰ゲームも部活の務めとはいえ、こんな格好はあんまりでございましたよ。
Satoko, I'm glad you had to wear that instead of the other ones, but personal, it's just, yeah, it's not good.
おじさんの格好に比べたら、さとこの格好なんてまともな方じゃない。
I mean, you probably could have picked a longer shirt than that.
メイドの格好がまともに見える時点で、みんなただれてると思いますです。
Rika, maid outfits aren't necessarily sexy.
ほらほら、レナ。いつまでもハウハウしてないで。
Keiichi's like, I'm gonna get the filet mignon. It's a dessert restaurant. I'm gonna get the filet mignon.
負けた連中にサービスしてもらうのが勝者の特権なんだからよ。
Keiichi's gonna make this even weirder. I would have made Keiichi dress like Grimace and serve the Grimace shake. Yes.
今日はどれを
Yes.
持ち帰ろうかな
Why? See, this is what would happen if I designed the game. Although if I designed the game, it wouldn't be nearly as well written. But it wouldn't have these cringe scenes like this.
そらウエイトレスさん、今日のおすすめは何かな？
こちらのフルーツパフェはいかがでしょうか？
ただいまシュークリームのセットがお安くなってましたよ。お水ならいくらおかわりしても OK な
I'll
のです。
go with Rika's suggestion. I'll have free water. Rena's nose was bleeding because she got to keep the waitresses in cute costumes all to herself. That's not how nosebleeds work. Why is this a thing where it's like, oh man, when you're like really having a good time, if you know what I'm saying, your nose starts bleeding. It's like, that is not what happens in real life. I should actually thank her for acting crazy like that because it made me look calmer than I really am. I was as excited as her, and my nose would bleed too if I wasn't careful. It's popular because of cringe scenes like these. If that's the case, then I have a more disappointing outlook on the world. I now understand what a slack-jawed smile means.
ねえねえリカちゃんウェイトレスさんあーやって
Rena, don't make it well, it's already weird.
ですよ。
さとこ、俺にも一つ頼むよ。
Okay, we're fast forwarding. We're fast forwarding.
もう悔しい。
I hate this too.
なさいませ。
Nope.
肩もみか。
Nope.
おじさんの肩もみは高くつくからね。
Nope. This is bad. Nope. Oh my gosh, we're making them do creepy things. No. My gosh, I want to get the water too. You're not a waitress, no. But I want to be served by the fantasy characters. Why? It's not fair. I want to be served by the fetish characters.
いや、それは。
We should call the police. We should shut this place down.
僕たちも
my gosh!
昨日のレバルショーできたの僕たちにも
Yeah, just interrupt each other.
欲しいです。
なんだかどうす
俺にどう
What
す
do
る
you want me to do?
亀田、そこまで言うなら今日の勝者の権利をかけ
We're having the competition now.
それってどういう意味かな
Really?
この
Umineko doesn't have as many and never got as popular even though it has better writing. I'm not sure if you can see. Didn't Higurashi also get a very popular anime adaptation though? That probably has a lot to do with it.
部活メンバーの他の精鋭たちをこんなメンバーですらない連中なんか束でかかってきても負ける
Oh
気
my
しない
gosh,
で
he
し
has a
ょ
different sprite other than just BAH! Comedy Code clapped his hands with knee, not with his knee, with glee. They nodded in agreement. They looked fired up already. Damn it, I have to fight against them here?
そういえばケイイチさんとレナさんの勝負は少し外野が混じるとはいえここで優勝決定戦をされ
Are
る
we
のも面
turning
白
this
い
into
です
water
よ
gun fight
ね
again?
もちろんここで負ければ
Nope.
さあ、なんかうまいことやられてる気分だが、レナはどうする？
レナは負けないよ。だってみんなレナがケイイチくんはどんな罰ゲーム服かな
I hope it's a Grimace outfit.
みんなお持ち帰り
I hope Keiichi has to bike home uphill in a Grimace outfit. That would actually be funny. She's motivated. I can see Kameda-kun is ready to fight for the ticket too. Oh no.
その勝負、この入江京介も
Erie, I
混ぜてい
don't
た
think
だ
you live
き
in
ます
Hinamizawa,
よ。
do you? You just work in Hinamizawa. I don't want Coach in here.
よっしゃ、このメンツで決定しよう。ケイちゃんもレナも依存はないね。
Yes.
チェ、依存も何も勝手に話を
まあ面白くなった方がいいでしょ。
富田さんも岡村さんもやめておくなら
What
今
was
の
the
う
thought
ちでしたよ。
process when designing this scene? Where you have all of the different things at play and you're just like, yes, this is a good idea.
分かってると思いますけど負けたら大変なことになりますよ。
You'll definitely draw them in their true costumes tomorrow. Please do. I look forward to that.
僕たちも男なんです。
You're like 12.
いつかは戦いたかったんです。
They've seen the many horrifying punishments we had to suffer and still had the courage to join in. I had to admit, they have potential. Coming in, the evil lord of the angel mort sneered at the two. Oh my gosh, this guy looks like the quintessential jerk kid in like a children's story. Like you know where you've got like this kid's story where you've got like the main kid and his best friends, and then you've got like the bully kid on the block who just like constantly is like sneering at them and like making fun of them. That's this guy. Literally, like, he literally looks like the classic childhood bully. Like, he's like Scooter McCarthy from the Henry Huggins books, pretty much. Yeah, Henry, you're never gonna get a clubhouse. You're never gonna catch a salmon. What do you mean? I'm gonna catch a chin hook. Nah, those fins are too big.
まさか K さんと再び戦えるとは思わなかったっすよ。
He has a way deeper voice than I expected.
今回は正々堂々正面からぶつからせていただきますよ。
よりによってエンジェルモートで亀田君と戦うことになるとはな。ある意味野球で戦うより手強い気がするぜ。
Coach Erie, the Count of Maids, laughed like he was afraid of nothing.
ここは大人の本気というものを見せてあげましょう。
Bruh, you don't try to play the cool adult now after your massive breakdown.
そして今日ここに入江京介のためだけの
You're like 30!
させるのです。
You're like my age, and you're talking about making the high school and middle school girls your harem. You know what? No, you know what? You know what, Erie? It's time. It's time. We gotta pull up an oldie but a goodie.
I'm Michael Jordan. Stop it. Get some help.
There you go. You got to.
みんな勝たせてあげないよ。
Thirsty teenagers being main marketing source of one of the bigger reasons that the change is more adult players playing games than the low birth rate.
よし、俺も覚悟を決めた。いつまでもぼやいていても仕方ねえ。見よ。
Oh, I can. Don't worry, Keiichi. I'll complain for you.
勝負は何でやる？
Why does she get to decide?
そう来なくっちゃね。
She's a loser.
みんな道を開けて。ウェイトレスの皆さん、運んじゃってください。
In the kitchen, the real waitresses are standing by with many desserts on trays. Is there going to be an eating contest? It looks like the game is going to be either a speed eating or a competitive eating contest.
店長、本当にいいんですか？
The waitresses are so gonna get in trouble.
いいから運んじゃって。
Oh no, Yoshi Airo, why are you here? Oh, well, I mean, he owns the place, but oh man.
面白いことは何でも大歓迎だよ。
No.
せっかくのイベントでだし、盛り上がらないと。
Oh no, Prince Zuko, this is a bad scene. Why are you playing this visual novel, Prince Zuko? You should be practicing your firebending. The waitresses checked with their manager and started bringing in the desserts. The two of my underclassmen, Kameda-kun, Coach Rena, and I sat at a table together. Coach has the biggest stomach! This isn't fair! Wow. A horrific amount of desserts was brought before us. I wanted to enjoy watching the cute waitresses placing desserts on the table. But right now I was in a fighting mood. I had no time for that. The audience surrounding our table seems to have grown excited too. What do you mean grown? They're freaking the F out. I bet it didn't even cross their minds that they would see a serious battle at Hooters today. But they didn't care. As long as it's fun to watch. But it's not.
いいかい？制限時間内にどれだけのデザートが食べられるかの勝負だよ。あらかじめ各メニューごとに重さは出してあるからね。食べ終わった後に食べた総重量で勝負をつけよう。
When the words competitive eating came up, Kameda-kun smiled evilly. Damn it, Kameda-kun had the advantage!
委員長、僕たちはコンビですので、2人で1人の扱いにしてください。
No.
ああ、いいよ。
No, it's not.
いつもコンビだからね。特別に許可しよう。
No way! Damn it, having two stomachs for a competitive eating contest was an absolute advantage too.
レナはどうだ？やっぱり女の子には胃袋勝負はきついんじゃないか？
She's gonna be like, what do you mean by that?
そんなことないよ。かいみんなお持ち帰りできるならテーブルごとだって飲み込んじゃうよ。
A true gentleman eats everything placed in front of him. Eating the table. I underestimated her. Rena can overcome physical impossibilities when she goes into Keiut mode. She might even be able to eat food that's heavier than herself.
監督はどうですか？
I skipped breakfast. You're screwed.
大食いは
That's fair. Yeah, big stomach doesn't mean as much.
前原さん、そこにメイドがいて、それを手に入れるための条件が大食いなら
Why is this his main personality trait?
私に不可能の文字はありません。
I could see a black aura surrounding him, which I find very intimidating. He looks pretty normal to me. The glint from his eyes that shone behind his lenses was sharp enough to pierce an ironing board. See, he doesn't look determined there. He looks like he's stoned. And here he just looks like he's disappointed in us, which is funny because I'm disappointed in him. Damn it, he was in maid mode, which was equally as strong as Rena's cute mode. Shit, I was the only one without any advantages.
じゃあ準備はいいかな。レディーゴー。
Question, if I barfs up dessert, does it still count towards what I've eaten? I wasn't ready emotionally, but Mion started the game without hesitation. Damn it, there was no turning back! I had to do this. There were many kinds of desserts before us. Some were easy to eat and some were not. So I had to get the dessert that's easiest to eat before anyone else got it! What about the yogurt parfait? Ah. But of course everyone seemed to be thinking the same thing. Everybody reached out for the same dessert as fast as they could. A white light flashed in front of our eyes and the parfait disappeared. My hands clashed with others in midair.
みんな遅いよ。
You're too slow!
レナがお持ち帰っちゃった。はう。
Rena took the parfait. She was literally as fast as lightning. Damn it, I knew it. There was no way I could beat Rena in the opening move. Rena took the parfait like a frog catching a fly with its tongue and swallowed it in a single gulp. She did it all in seconds! She's usually gentle and calm, but she's a totally different person right now. Really, it's terrifying. I see. I now understand why people say that women always have room for dessert. But in the special environment of Angel Mort, Scooter wasn't far behind Rena. I'm calling this guy Scooter from now on. He grabbed a fruit parfait and swallowed it as if drinking beer from a mug. It looked very dynamic.
無駄ですよ、ケイさん。エンジェルモートでの戦いで俺に勝てる可能性は 1% もないっす。まだまだ行くっすよ。
Kamita-kun and Okamura-kun were looking at the extraordinary techniques Rena and Kamita-kun are displaying, but they seem to be very calm. Here's your guess, Keiji has to wear all the costumes if he loses. They already did that earlier. They knew their advantage. As long as they kept a steady pace, they could eat more and eat faster than anybody else because there are two of them. Rena and Kamita-kun were eating very fast, but they might slow down in the middle, so this is going to be an unpredictable race. Son of a bitch, I won't lose this game. I shoved my dessert into my mouth and kept eating. I just kept eating. Ow, ow, ow! Damn it, my mouth got extremely cold when I swallowed that ball of ice cream. How could the others do this so easily? There's an idea. I should melt it first. I could use some kind of heat to melt it first and then drink it down. Plus, it would also be easier for my stomach to take when it's not so cold. But how should I melt it? It would take too long to use body heat, and I didn't have any other sorts of heat with me.
すみません、ウェイトレスさん。注文をいいでしょうか。
What are you thinking?
ホットコーヒーをお願いします。
Oh no, he has the right idea.
できれば器は鍋だと助かります。
監督。
甘いですよ、前原さん。熱で溶かすなんてて、私だって思いついていました。
No! Damn it! He was one step ahead of me. I could order hot coffee too, but I'd still be one step behind him. I'd have to come up with something to melt my ice cream faster than hot coffee. Why does he get his own Sprite now? Oh, I can't switch. No, I can. Okay, yeah, we're doing. Hang on. Yeah, we're doing OG Keiichi. Oh, the OG Keiichi Sprite's pretty good. Keiichi-kun held his head, screamed that line, then bent his neck backwards. When he gets like this, he always speaks everything that's on his mind, and it's very fun to listen to. Pink text, is that Rena? But I had to concentrate. I needed to win this game. I was going to keep eating as much as I can and take all the adorable girls home with me. Yep, okay, pink text means Rena. Yeah, eating contests suck. Ha 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 ha, star. I was having so much fun. I was so thrilled that I felt like my heart was about to burst. I might have been acting totally uncute, but I didn't care, exactly because I was having so much fun. Michan always comes up with such extraordinary games. No, this is a pretty sucky one. Satoko-chan loves to play pranks. Rika-chan is very sneaky, but it's impossible to hate her. And Keiichi-kun is always so funny. No, not always. I enjoy every day. I wish I could express how much I really do enjoy them better than by saying how happy I am. Sometimes I even feel anxious because I enjoy every day so much. There's as much misfortune and pain as there is happiness and pleasure in this world. And I know very well that they all come to you regardless of how hard you try. You'll have happy days regardless of how hard you try. You'll have unhappy days regardless of how hard you try. But that doesn't mean you don't need to try hard. I can try to make happy days even happier and last longer. In the same way, I can try to make my unhappy days happier and end faster. I struggle very hard to achieve that. That's why I'm going to enjoy the happy days I have now as much as I can. I must not take them for granted, because they won't last forever. They won't. One day, all of a sudden, these happy days will come to an end. I know it. That's why I was trying to enjoy the happiness I received today so that I wouldn't regret it, even if the world ended tomorrow. Didn't Rena also say something similar in a previous chapter? It sounds familiar. By the way, I'm right now going with Rika's suggestion with the free water. That's what I go for my streams. I noticed my hands stopped moving when I was thinking about these things. When spending time with my friends, I feel so happy that my heart might burst. I even love doing the punishments. They're fun for me. I have friends. I have a place where I fit in. I have time in which to be myself. I have a me that I love. I love everybody. I love Michan, Satoko-chan, Rika-chan, and Keiichi-kun. I love everybody in my class and everybody in Okinomiya.
おお、レナの手が止まったね。さすがにあのペースじゃ長続きしないかな。
Nope, just sentimental.
チャンスだよ、岡村。今こそ竜宮山を抜かす。
無駄無駄無駄。
Scooter, shut up.
この俺に勝とうという時点で蜂蜜杏仁豆腐よりやばいぜ。
Scooter's gonna be in the bathroom for a very long time
レナ
after
さん
this.
しっかりしてくださいまし。監督を勝たせたら承知しませんですことよ。
Yeah, I mean, if I were Satoko, I would not want Coach to win. He's pretty creepy.
私は負けませんよ。
In Chapter 3 to Keiichi, if volcano erupted the next day, only for the volcanic gas to kill everyone later. I still have no idea how that happened, by the way.
飲めと言われれば、太平洋だって飲み干してみせましょう。
Sure.
どうしたレナ。
What's the matter? Getting tired?
見てろ。ここからいよいよケイイチ様の逆転劇の始まりだぜ。なあみんな。
I don't care about the Reddit mods at all.
レナ、どうしましたですか？
Rika, I really don't want your sprite to be on screen. I'm sorry. I had left the table.
ごめん。ちょっと手洗い行ってくるね。
I was just so happy. I didn't care who won or lost this match. Of course, it's more fun when I go crazy to try and win, but I could never be happier than this. Rena reached peak happiness at Hooters on the worst day of the year. Rena, I'm a little worried about your mental state then. If I could seal this happiness in a piece of crystal, I'd carry it around with me in my pocket. I'd use it as heat to ward off the cold of hard days that are certain to come to me. Yeah, it sounds like she might have some form of depression then. Or at least, like, a mood disorder where she's got ups and downs and extremes. Yeah, I know! I haven't, I hope we learned what the heck was going on during the breaking windows in Oyashiro-sama part of Rena's life. Yeah, we probably will. This is a pretty long chapter. I think there are 13 sets of to-be-continueds where we get achievements. So, yeah. We only have gotten one of those thus far. I know they will. Rena's giving me Sayori vibes. A little bit. Less depressing, but yeah, similar. You're not truly happy when you feel happiness. When you're bored with happy days and you don't even realize you're happy, that's when you've achieved true happiness. You only truly feel happiness when you're in a freezing cold environment. That's the only time your heart can feel the warmth of even a small happiness. On my way to the bathroom, I saw a waitress and a customer arguing at the register. Uh-oh. The customer was a woman? Oh, impossible. The waitress was trying to explain that the lady needed a ticket to get a seat because the restaurant was holding an event today. But the lady, saying she didn't know, was still trying to get a seat. After a while, the store manager was called and started apologizing to the lady.
まったく く。
Who the heck is this? Rena? We have another 2-syllable name starting with R and ending in A. Wow. That's your effort. Wow. Okay, lady, you might want to put on something a little more modest. You're wearing like the tiniest top possible and it's almost the same color as your skin. And you have a starfish tattoo. That's not a very good tattoo. Hi, my name is Karen. I would very much like to eat at Hooters today. Because well...
チケットないなら入れないって表の見えるところにちゃんと張り紙しといてよ。たく、客を何だと思ってんの？
The lady's eyes met mine. I guessed who it might be when I heard the voice, so I was prepared. Oh, do you know her?
あら？レイナちゃんじゃない？
Oh.
こんなとこで会うなんて奇遇よね。
Piano music. Also, yeah, that's right. Her name actually is Rena. She just goes by Rena.
あ、どうもこんにちは。こんなとこで会うなんて本当に奇遇ですよね。
I held up my hand for a high five. She gave me one.
聞いてよレイナちゃん。ひどいのよ。今日はチケットがないと入れないとか言うのよ。
She gives me I'm 32 forever annoying lady vibes. She does kind of have that smug like I'm hot stuff face. We'll see. I'm gonna try not to judge her immediately. We'll see what she's like.
仕方ないわね。ねえ、お店には入れなくてもお土産にケーキくらいは売ってくれるんでしょ？
Her voice sounds kind of familiar.
ええ、それは問題ございません。さあさあ、どうぞこちらからどれでもお選びください。
The store manager gave her a fake smile and led her to their showcase.
私はこの可愛らしいのにしようかしらね。
she sees Coach pouring hot coffee to melt the ice cream so he can drink it. I'll have what he's having.
あの人はショートケーキみたいな地味なのが好きだったっけ？ねえ、レイナちゃん。あなたはどれがいい？
What would I... Is she gonna get one for me? Who is this lady?
私ですか？いいのいいの？はう。
本当にこういうのに目がないわね。どれでも好きなの選んでいいわよ。
That would be something if this was Rena's mom. I kind of don't think so based on the way that they're interacting with each other, but we'll see. She also looks a little too young to be Rena's mom. But then again, she also could just be anime girl mom who just looks perpetually 24.
じゃあ、
Looking at you,
私も
Sanai
シ
from
ョートケー
Clannad.
キでいいです。
あら、他にもこんなに可愛らしいケーキがたくさんあるのに。
By the way, you already heard the name Rena in the past. I don't remember. There are too many names.
なんだかとっても迷っちゃうけど、こういう時はショートケーキが一番美味しそうに見えるんです。
The fact that she calls her Rena means they're close but not friends. Yeah, her friends all call her Rena.
そう。じゃあ、ショートケーキを2つとプチトリアノンを1つ。
What the heck is a petit Renault?
お持ち帰りでね。
We heard her name in chapter 3? That's very surprising. She imitated the smile I usually made. I replied with the same big smile. Then I smelled the strong scent of her perfume. Oh, wait. Was she included in the list of, like, dead people at the end? Where it was... She was probably included in the list of dead people at the end. Of, like, all the people living in Hinamizawa. That's probably it. Made me sneeze. Rena-san's perfume and I never seem to get along. Yeah, she's not referring to her as mom. It's Rena-san. Their either have... Oh, interesting. Is that the end of Hooters? Please let that be the end of Hooters. New tips unlocked. Business card. I think that's the end of Hooters. Oh, her name was mentioned by Uisi. Okay, never mind. Perfume and shortcakes. Met with someone unpleasant. I think they are maybe referring to Rena there, but Rena was probably the most pleasant person there. I'd much rather hang out with her than all of the Reddit mods and Scooter and Coach and the girls in the fetish costumes. All right, well, let's view the new tips. Business card. Rena, height 168 centimeters. Wow. Why do we have her measurements? Hobbies. I'm interested in outdoor garden. She put her measurements on her business card? Oh, this woman sucks. Nope, I already was gonna say it. She sucks. Hobbies. I'm interested in indoor gardening. I want to make tea with the herbs I grow. I always enjoy your funny and interesting stories. We should go out somewhere next time, in private. Gentleman's Club Blue Mermaid. Private manager Rena Mamiya. Oh, she runs the Gentleman's Club. Okay. There's, like, already so many red flags in that. Okay. No, I'm with Rena. I don't like her already. She runs a gentleman's club, and she puts her measurements on her business card. Like, nah, no, she's full of herself. We don't want to deal with this. All right, that's probably all of Higurashi I can take for tonight. We got for 2 chapters. 2 chapters, I think, is good progress. And I'm pretty sure there are 13 in this game. So we'll probably have to play this beyond the month of August. Unless, well, we're really diligent on that. You bet she's her stepmom or something? We could... That would mean she lied to Keiichi about her parents being lovey-dovey, but we'll see. I'm open to it. Rena's probably keeping secrets. We know she was. In Chapter 1, she got very upset when Keiichi was getting onto her on that, so... Alright, well, there we go. That's gonna do it for the first stream of Higurashi Chapter 6. Well, I liked the water gun fight, and I didn't like the Hooters part. Perfectly balanced, as all things should be. Thanks for joining in and chatting, everybody. It's great to hear your guys' theories and just interact with you all. It's fantastic. I will try to stream this again on Sunday. It's not a guarantee. I am visiting a friend on Sunday. I don't know for how long, though, so I'll assume that I'll be back, but there's a chance I won't be. If so, I'll be there for 8 p.m. Eastern Standard. If I can't stream Sunday, then I'll stream Monday instead. So that's how it's going to go. Thanks, everybody. Hope you have a great rest of your night, and God bless everybody.